to get to. As always, it's brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. You get in the game because Thursdays, one of your favorite games to play, the Daily Grand. $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. $7.3 million. No big deal. Wake up every morning, ka-ching, $1,000. God, that'd be awesome. You might even be able to buy one ticket to the Stanley Cup Final. We don't have to talk about that. But anyway, you wouldn't worry about it if you had to. PlayAlberta.ca as the Edmonton Oilers. So going into the game last night, the Florida Panthers were 31-0 in games where they led after the first and second. 31-0 in the playoffs under Paul Maurice. That ends as the Oilers were down 3-1. Victor Arvidsson made it 3-2. Then in the third period, Matthias Ekholm becomes the 20th Oiler to score a goal. That ties a franchise mark that was set back in 1984. Only two teams have had more. The 87 Flyers, who lost, and the 2019 Bruins, who lost. So do you really want another Oiler to score? Maybe not. You'll just say, you know what, we're good. We got 20. It's a pretty good number. It just illustrates the depth as Ekholm comes in. Every player contributed. I know Troy Stetcher didn't score in his games or Ty Emerson, but and Josh Brown, but he didn't play enough to really count. But either way, they're getting production up and down the lineup. Kasperi Kapanen, you kidding me? How good was he last night for the Edmonton Oilers? Had he scored that goal in overtime? Oh my goodness. What a rush, burst through the defense, just got on the outside of the post. He played great with 2 assists. So Arvidsson, new player on the team this year, scores a massive goal. Podkol's an assist on it. Jake Wallman has an assist, has a massive game. 5 shots, 4 hits, block shots, hits, everything. He's playing great. And then your big dogs when you need them. Leon Draisaitl becomes only the 3rd player in NHL history to score a goal in the first 2 minutes of the game. I just want to make sure I get the other names right. So you score a goal in the first 2 minutes of the game, but then also score the overtime winner. It's only happened 2 other times. Connor Halley. Any guesses? I'm really putting you on the spot here. On the other 2 players, I'll give you a hint. One was an Oiler.
Wayne Gretzky?
Good guess, but no. In your lifetime, somebody you saw.
Oh, Kelly Bookberger?
Fernando Pisani.
Dang.
Overtime winner, scored in the first 2 minutes of the game. And then prior to that, you got to go back to 1951 when Sid Smith did it. So, it's not bad. Also, Leon Draisaitl last night. He ties the NHL record for most overtime goals in one playoff year with 3. Now, it's only happened 4 other times. Mel Hill did it. Probably don't remember him. But what about Corey Perry? He did it in 2017 as a member of the Ducks. Matthew Tkachuk did it 2023. And the Rocket, Maurice Richard, also did it in 1951. But guess what? You know why you should remember Mel Hill? Because he and the Boston Bruins way back in 1932, he's the only guy to score 3 overtime goals in one season and also win the Stanley Cup. So Leon Draisaitl's got 3. The Oilers are up 1-0. They came back from a 3-1 deficit, 3-2 deficit, tie it, and then win it in overtime. And you know what? It was a unique game. It was different. It was, there was 21 icings. There was a lot of icings in the game. It wasn't the smoothest game. It was physical, both teams. And both teams had runs where they were clearly the better team. The Edmonton Oilers, in the first period, the better team. Now, they were trailing 2-1 because a goal, we can get into that goal review. I know a lot of people don't think it's a goal. Others are like, no, it's a goal. Now, by the wording of it, did Kulak touch him? Yes. Now, where it becomes, I think, a gray area is, does Sam Bennett fall naturally like that? That's the question. Obviously, they reviewed it. They reviewed it pretty quick, and they're like, no, that falls into the category of, if you fall into the goaltender, the other team pushes you, guess what? It's not goalie interference. So, obviously, Stuart Skinner said, I couldn't make a save. I couldn't move. So, You don't blame him on that one. Then they score in a power play. Marchand's wide open. The Oilers got caught overextending to the one side. Nice pass. Not much of a chance on that one. And then Sam Bennett. That was a great transition goal from the Panthers. Bennett comes in, and that guy, like right now, Sam Bennett, it's looking like a 50-goal scorer. The guy's got so much confidence in the offensive zone. But Stuart Skinner, in the second period when the Oilers got pumped, it was 16-4 in shots, and they were all over him. Skinner stood tall. Third period, the Oilers come back. Now they control the game. 14-2 were the shots in the third period. Oilers did get the Ekholm goal. Great pass from McDavid to tie the game. And then you get to overtime, and what happens? First 5 minutes, it's all Panthers. And Skinner had to make 3 really big saves early. And then the Oilers kind of took over. And the last, I think, 15 minutes of overtime, they controlled it. And then they get a break. No sec. Delay a game penalty. Jake Wallman showing him how excited he was that he took the penalty. And how many of you thought, okay, they're going to score here? Because the Oilers power play in that second period, when you had the weird sequence when there was 3 penalties called in a span of 24 seconds. It was nuts. Panthers get a penalty. Then Corey Perry, right off the ensuing faceoff, gets his stick in the feet. Schmidt goes down, penalty, and that negates the power play. And then Aaron Ekblad takes down Draisaitl, 16 seconds later in the neutral zone? Penalty. It's crazy. 3 penalties in 24 seconds. And then outside of those penalties, it was the Oilers failed challenge, so that's delay a game. And Florida had a delay a game, puck over glass. It's late in the period. You think that maybe the ice isn't good. But look at that power play goal. Bouchard to Nugent Hopkins to Perry to McDavid to Draisaitl. All 5 guys on the ice touch the puck. It's the Hart Trophy combination again. Perry, McDavid, Draisaitl, back of the net. And I loved Kasperi Kapanen when we asked him, what's going through your mind when you saw, Perry give it to McDavid? His answer, I closed my eyes and just listened to the crowd because I know from the reaction. It was a relief and a great sound. So think about how many of you were like, oh my God, I can't watch. Because the one thing I've learned here in the last few weeks, I cannot believe how many of you are such diehard fans, but you're like, you know what? I watched a few games. The team lost, so now I don't watch. And I'm like, what? This is the playoffs. You're in the Stanley Cup final, and you're so superstitious that you feel if you watch the game, the team loses, so you don't watch. You're out doing yard work. You're taking the dogs for walks. It's unbelievable to me that people are that committed and diehard of a fan that you will not watch a game because you think that if you're watching the television, that somehow the team's going to lose. You're not superstitious. You're not even little stitious. To me, that is like major stitious. That's even a word, but you know what I mean. So the Oilers get a huge win. And I'm telling you, there are certain games where when you win them, I really think it changes the series. And I know it's only one game, but here's some numbers for you. Teams who open at home, win game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, are 52-10. 52-10. I know, sorry, Canuck fans, you're like, what? We were 2-0 at home, and you lost. That's why you're the Canucks. Sorry, but it's true. Also, in the salary cap era, teams who are at home, 13-6. Teams are at home who win game 1, even better record. So that bodes well for the Edmonton Oilers. We mentioned Florida, their invincibility at holding on to a lead is over. Still really good at 31-1, but it ain't 31-0. And teams in the 2000s, that was the 6th time that game 1 has now gone to overtime. And the team who scored the overtime winner, the only team who lost after winning in overtime in game 1 was the 2002 Carolina Hurricanes, who lost to Detroit back when there was no salary cap and the Red Wings had 9 Hall of Famers. It's an emotional game, and it gives you a big break if you can get the win. And I think for Edmonton, You can relax. A lot of the players spoke about how that there was a little rust in that game. They'd been off that long for that. Now, Florida was off the same, and I don't even know if I'd call it rust because I just felt there was big swings of momentum. Edmonton held it in the first. Florida held it in the second. Edmonton had it in the third. Florida had it early in the first, and then it was back to the Oilers. And tomorrow night, I can only imagine what the atmosphere will be for that game, for the potential to go up 2-0. The Oilers, by the way, 4-0 all time in the Stanley Cup Final when they win Game 1. So it is, it's good. Hey, Greg's, everybody remembers Mel's sudden death Hill. You're not a hockey fan if you don't, from Roger in Calgary. Well, Roger, I think a lot of people might not know Mel Hill, but you're right. He did score a few big goals. There's no question about that. So, hey, boys, what's with all the players being tossed out of the faceoffs? Well, all you have to do is watch the faceoff. If you move and try to anticipate and the puck isn't dropped, you're out. That's a new rule. And Draisaitl's okay with it, especially when he plays with McDavid. Because he feels, you know what? I'm going to jump and I'm going to try to time it right. So he'll risk it, especially in the neutral zone. But even in the offensive zone, defensive zone, they don't really have a problem. And that's just how it is. That's the rule. And you don't even see Draisaitl complain anymore. He'll go in and he has a strategy. And sometimes he's like, you know what? I'm going to try to time it. And sometimes he ends up jumping it. Other times he ends up timing it perfectly. And he wins the faceoff. So that's how it goes. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. We're going to hear from Chris Knobloch coming up first segment. We got David Owens, another edition of Thirsty Thursday. Jeff Merrick will be by in the 3 o'clock hour. We got Landon Ferraro, Spec. We're also going to hear, hopefully, from the head coach of the Elks. Other news, we mentioned it, the Riverhawks off to a very good start as they are 2-0 and looking for the sweep tonight. It's going to be a great night for baseball. So if you need some time to relax, get outside, enjoy some weather, check out the Riverhawks tonight. The Elks will be heading to BC tomorrow as they get set to take on the Lions. The season open. Now, I'm trying to remember, and I asked Steve Daniels, I'm waiting for an answer because I just thought about it before the show started, but when was the last time or ever we had two Canadian starting quarterbacks in week one go head-to-head? Can you remember the last time we had it? Week one, two Canadian starting quarterbacks. You got Rourke and you got Ford going head-to-head. To me, that's a pretty big story. You also have Snoop Dogg playing at BC Play. Here's a true story. The Edmonton Elks, the only thing they asked was that Snoop Dogg's locker room was not close to theirs. You want to know why, Connor Halley? I think you know the answer.
Something that's legal in our country?
Yeah, it's legal, but you don't want it wafting through your room.
Yeah.
So that was because you know what? And it is, I'll be curious, like a lot of the players are like huge Snoop Dogg fans. So are they going to be able to watch some of the show a little bit? Every coach has different, we'll ask Killam if we get him on. What's his rule on that? Can they watch maybe a little bit of the concert and then go back to the room? Can they watch none of it? I'm kind of curious. I know they got a game to play, but you can't. I think sometimes, and we've talked to Lalitha Taylor and we talked to Lorianne Munzer about like the focus point. You can't just focus for like 2 hours straight. No one does it. So it is interesting to see. So the Snoop Dogg at BC Place tomorrow night, on Saturday night, they'll have a great crowd. So you got Riverhawks tonight. You got Oilers Friday. You got Riverhawks and Elks on Saturday. You got Riverhawks on Sunday. Oilers Monday. Man, it's a great time. You got now the Stingers are on the road, but man, if you're a sports fan right now, it's unreal. Unreal. We got a lot of other texts flying in. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Hey guys, I say I'm superstitious as I don't watch because every time I watch they lose. My wife calls it a mental illness. From Kurt. Kurt, I might tend to agree with your wife. I would switch it up, Kurt. There's like, are you telling me that you've only, like, the Oilers have won 13 of their last 15 games? The only two you watched, they lost. Game 1 against Dallas, Game 3 against Vegas. You didn't watch any other games. Think about it. You're missing out. You're missing out. Hey, Gregor, I have to say I was wrong. I disagreed with you on the Oilers having worse depth than Florida. It obviously isn't the case. Well, that's true, Nick. Yeah, well, I appreciate the note. You're right. Well, look at it. The Oilers, the fewest minutes anybody played was just under 14. And the fourth line didn't even play 10 minutes in Florida. And then you look at the third pair. Look at Florida's third pair. They played 17 and 18 minutes. The Oilers' defense, the fewest minutes played was Wallman at 23:07, which would have put him 8th amongst Florida skaters. It's 23:07. So they switched up their D pretty evenly. Bouchard did play over 30 minutes. And Wallman had himself a heck of a game. Him and Klingberg were excellent, I thought, again. And you're right. I think Edmonton, they have depth. Like, look at their quote fourth line. Who is their best fourth line? Who is the best line in overtime? It was Janmark, Colson, and Arvidsson. They were outstanding. They were excellent. I thought Kapanen, didn't matter who he played with. He was a beast last night. Their best forwards, of course, McDavid and Draisaitl, each with 2 points. Very noticeable in the game. And that's how you're going to win. Your great players still produce, but your depth guys show up. Arvidsson had a huge goal, and guess what? Stuart Skinner was better than Sergei Bobrovsky. None of the goals on Skinner he had an issue with. First one, no chance. The other, Bennett one, great shot and a breakaway. And the Marchand one. I have no issues with any of the goals. But Bobrovsky, if an Oiler goalie allows the Arvidsson goal, you're freaking out. You're freaking out. Right? You look and say, that's a save he should make. But he didn't. And Stuart Skinner, all you got to do, what does Calvin Pickard say? My whole goal is to let in one less goal than the other goalie. And Stuart Skinner did it. He had another solid game. I thought, especially in the second period and in the start of overtime. Hey, Gregor, here's your useless stat of the day. The Oilers have won 4 of the last 5 playoff games against the Cats. Well, dating back a whole year. You're right. 4 or 5. They won. Unfortunately, they'll tell you the one they lost was the most important one. Because in theory, that loss, but I guess if they would have lost 4 or 5 or 6, they still would have lost the Stanley Cup. But the one loss resulted in the night where they win. Quick break. We'll return. Chris Knobloch will join us. Got lots more of your text. 833-401-1440. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
McDonald's Sundaes and snack-size shakes are $2. Or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here.
My phone.
I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
And I'm Zach Hyman.
And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes,
Or having my goals disallowed.
we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You know, guys used to call me a plumber.
And now they call you an AC repairman.
Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well,
Okay.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
no payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
This is a slam dunk. Dive into Edmonton's vibrant basketball scene with exclusive interviews and expert analysis. I'm Paul Sir, and I host The Basketball Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical. Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems. Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The crackle of a morning campfire. The collapsing of the tent, the packing of the car, the gravel under your tires, the quiet of an empty campsite, the gust of wind, the scattering of embers, the roar of a wildfire, feeling of overwhelming regret. 63% of Alberta's wildfires were started by people. Don't be that person. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Sato Canada trains you to succeed in Canada's energy industry. Canada's leading safety and training organization. Basic vacuum truck operator and water truck operator training. Basic rig site orientation. Hot boiler operation. And industrial cleaning introduction. Traco for rig operations. Plus confined space entry and monitor. H2S Alive. Common safety orientation. And standard first aid. Online courses available. A state-of-the-art facility with real scenarios, equipment, and experiences. SatoCanada.ca.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Centre's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Well, many of you were jumping around last night, especially in overtime. I'm curious, like, kind of what the rule is. So my son was 11, and game's over, and now I wasn't at home, and so I'm probably a little bit different. Normally, I'm pretty strict on bedtime, but I'm like, hey, a playoff overtime game, and I just texted my wife and said, hey, he's got to watch the first overtime for sure. Now you get into second one. Now it's past 10 o'clock. Like, I get it. So no, but for them to score late, and I talked to them this morning. And those are the memories for kids where they become real sports fans. I think like you'll remember a big goal. He's old enough now. How many of you still remember the Pisani game 5? Like when you think of overtime goals, heck, David Desharnais, Sean Horkoff, like there's lots of them, but that one will probably resonate longer, especially if the Oilers win the cup. Right. You'll remember the Kasperi Kapanen one. They like overtime goals are always big. Todd Marchand's a huge one for that generation of Oilers fans in the 90s. It was massive. But if you win, it's just a little bit different. I think for years, the Peter Klima goal lived on for a long time for Oilers fans. Now, it wasn't the prettiest goal, but the Draisaitl one last night, if that ends up being the last overtime game for the Oilers this playoffs, It'll be a very memorable goal. We're going to get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton as Discover Day sales event is on. You can lease or finance a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from only 0.49% and save an additional $4,000. So stop in this weekend. Volvo Cars Edmonton as, hey, they drive the Swedes, Klingberg, Arvidsson, and Ekholm at Volvo Cars Edmonton. We'll get to Chris Novak in a second. I want to read a few of these. Hey, guys, I'm 50 years old. I've been an Oiler fan my whole life. I live in Kamloops, and I drove down yesterday for the game. And in all the games I've seen live, nothing compared to what I experienced last night. What a game. What a blast. It was amazing to watch it with my fellow Oiler fans and not have to hear Canuck fans slamming my team out of jealousy. Let's go, Oilers. That one comes from Jay. Well, hey, you drive in, and that's the game you get to experience. Like, for a lot of people, last night might have been their first ever playoff game. Whether it's your first one or your 10th one, the atmosphere in the building, the atmosphere at your watch parties, the atmosphere in the mosque, it elevates and it ratchets it up. And as high as it was last night, it'll find a way to be a little bit higher for game 2. That's just how it is. Hey, guys, I'm as old as Bleep, and the Klima goal is a memory I have as a young kid. I got to stay up late with Grandpa from Mike from Kindersley. Well, yeah, you think about it as like, I still remember for me, and it wasn't even a team, but I remember when I got to stay up to watch the Islanders and the Capitals, and it went to like 5 overtimes. And as a kid, I remember I was like 12, and it was like a badge of honor that I was able to stay up and watch the entire game. And I still remember Mason, like the goal goes in, and he's just like so tired. He's just leaning up, both arms are on the back he's on the crossbar, and he's just spent. And you're just like, oh my God, that is a brutal, brutal way to lose. Hey, Greg's not only the Marchand goal, it's the Cujo save. That's my big first hockey memory from Kenneth. Well, yeah, that was an unreal sequence in that overtime period. The Bob Cole call of the Joseph save on Nieuwendyk from just a pure save call. It'd be hard to find a better one. There might be some that are equal, but it'd be hard to find a better one just as that call. Hey, Greg's, what about Mark Lamb and the Jets in the 1990? Went nuts. I'll never forget that game. See, there you go. Trailer Park Ryan. Yeah, going back a little bit more in time. Yeah, Mark Lamb, that year in 1990. Oh, he was unreal on a line with Curry and Tikkanen. He was their second line center. Played like a beast. He was unreal in the 1990 playoffs. So you remember a lot of ones. Hey, fellas, what about the Yzerman clapper down the wing? Now, was that over Grant Fuhr or was it John Casey? But yeah, that was a huge slap shot from Yzerman, and the celebration, right? He's got the big high. He almost looked like Nick Foligno at that moment because Foligno had it for that. Yeah, but the Bob Cole call, we might have to get that call, Connor Halley, just to remind everybody about the Bob Cole call on Curtis Joseph, because it was lights out. Anyway, let's get to Chris Knobloch, and first of all, just his thoughts on McDavid and Draisaitl, how effective they've been, and when's kind of the right time, and how was his feel go, when to start them in the game, when to go to them during the game, and all that, because last night it worked out again.
What's the dilemma like when you go away from it, because you don't seem to want to do it long term?
Ask him about changing.
Tremendous at a tremendous rate. Two biggest games that come to my mind, a couple games against the LA series, and there's been games when they've actually started and they played well, but they haven't scored what you would expect. I don't know. I think it's important. One, Leon playing center just spreads out our scoring a little bit. It also gets him in the game a little bit more. He's skating and involved. And I think it also allows the rest of our team knowing that they've got a role. They've got it to play well, and we're not just relying on this one line that is going to do all the work. And I don't know. It's nice to know that when those two get together mid-game, that the results are pretty good. But yeah, it's something that we can't rely on.
Yeah, you don't want to rely on it all the time, but when they have to go to it, it clearly works. And it works now because the rest of their lineup is contributing. Right? You got a power play goal last night. You had Draisaitl's line score in their first shift of the game. You had the Arvidsson line score a massive goal. And then you had, I think it was Kane on with Draisaitl and McDavid when Ekholm scored. So, you know what? Your big guys got to score if you want to win. Like, look at Florida. Their leading goal scorer had 2 goals last night. Bennett's now up to 12 in the season, in the postseason. He's played great. Knobloch, speaking of Sam Bennett, he asked kind of like the key to defending Sam Bennett around the net.
Yeah, you just try and make early contact and box a guy out. Yeah, there's not a lot you can do. There's some players that just find their way getting to the net. I guess just early contact, getting body position. That's about all.
He was being very diplomatic. It was funny because when he was asked that question, he took a big pause. You know, like, hey, give Sam Bennett credit. He did get tripped, but he was able to take the trip and have him fall an extra 1.5 feet backwards. And it worked. So you can hate it. But like I always say, if it's your team, you'd be like, hey, that's a really good play by Corey Perry or Zach Hyman. So there's a little bit of gamesmanship and smarts in there. But man, Bennett was their best player last night. I thought he was the most noticeable Panther for me. I thought he was dangling. Like, and I don't really see that from Bennett, but man, he was excellent when he had the puck on his stick. Knobloch was also asked about the ability to be physical, but not cross the line. The Oilers were physical last night, but and Corey Perry took 2 stick penalties, right? But they didn't come from, guys, being overzealous and headshots.
It's a far cry that we were ever bullied out. I think we accepted that challenge, and the physicality. We had some really physical series last year. Obviously, the Florida one last year, and the first round last year against LA was a very physical matchup. A lot of hits, but this year, we had it. Obviously, you got Kane being healthy, him having that presence more than he was last year. Trent Frederick. We got a lot more guys that have. Pod Colson's another guy, Kapanen. I think it's important that not only you're finishing your checks, you have that physical presence, but you're winning a lot of battles. The bigger you are, typically you're stronger, you're winning more pucks, which is important. You want to play with the puck as much as possible, less time defending. And we got those big guys, they are helping us.
Oh, yeah. I think it's no question. It makes a big difference for the Oilers. And what about Jake Walman? Man, did he have an excellent game last night for the Edmonton Oilers? Like, I was kind of surprised. People like, man, why'd they get Jake Walman? Some people were complaining that the Oilers gave up a first rounder in 2026 for Jake Walman. I'm like, what? You're getting a guy's, he's got a good contract, skates well, he's physical, can move the puck. Like, what can you not like about Jake Walman? Like, I'm always surprised how much people fall in love with a first round pick, especially a late first rounder. I would trade a late first rounder all day if I'm getting guy for term. Right? And then I would say, hey, scouts, we got to make some good picks later on. But Jake Walman, 23 minutes and 7 seconds. He had 5 shots, 4 blocks, 3 hits. Hell of a game. Hell of a game for him last night. And Knobloch just talks about the importance that Walman's had on their team.
I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Jake, among others. But Jake's game was tremendous, especially, missing Ekholm. We needed guys to step up in Ekholm's absence. He was one of those guys. And when we got Jake, we wanted a guy who's a puck-moving defenseman, some agility, give us a little more scoring. And yes, he gave us all that. But one thing I didn't know about Jake was how many block shots he had. The first game he played with us, he had about 5 or 6. And throughout the playoffs last night, I know he had about 3 or 4. And, how he's willing to put his body in front of the puck and make it hard for them to score. He's also physical. He had some big hits last night. So nice surprise. We knew we were getting a smart, good skating defenseman, some offensive flair. Guy can probably be on the first unit power play if we needed that. But I didn't understand or knew about his all-around game, and his defensive play has been really well. And he's also been used in many situations. He's been on the penalty kill. And at the trade deadline, we wanted players with versatility. We talk about Trent Frederick playing numerous positions. Jake Wallman, same position. He's played with every single other defenseman. He's been on the left side. He's been on the right side. And right now, he's been playing a lot with Klingberg, which I think those two have been great together. But get back to your answer, his role on this run has been very important.
Yeah, it's he has been a key player, and that's why when I watch the Stanley Cup Finals and I look at playoffs, that's why I will argue when people want to talk about Hall of Famers and legacies of players, and they're like, "Oh, he doesn't have a Stanley Cup." The Stanley Cup is not an individual award. Now, I know it helps that Connor McDavid, him and Leon Draisaitl look like they're going to become only the 3rd and 4th players all time to have 3 years where they had 30 points or more in a playoff season. You know who else? Messier did it 3 times. Gretzky did it 6. That's it. McDavid needs 2 points the rest of the series. Draisaitl needs 3. These guys, they know how to score. But if you don't have, they're not on the ice all the time. You need good teams. You need Jake Wallman. You need Victor Arvidsson. You need Kasperi Kapanen. You need everybody, right? That's what you need to win. And that's why I will always argue it, that the great players, you need them, yes. But in the league now, there's 32 teams. Heck, how many more teams are we going to have in 4 or 5 years? 36? Realistically? That's why I'm not sold that they'll change the schedule to 84, where it's an even schedule. Well, that's only even until you expand. Then it isn't even again. So I think that, it helps, no question. There's pressure on McDavid. I totally understand it. But when I evaluate best players, I don't really put the Stanley Cup is down the list for me when I'm evaluating greatness, because their personal individual stuff. And that's not just offense. It can be defense. Hey, if this guy's scoring all the time, but he's getting outscored, well, it doesn't matter how much he scores. Look at Leon Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl came into the NHL more of a reputation of a passer. He's now become one of the best goal scorers in the NHL. He's also excellent on faceoffs. He was 6th in Selke Trophy voting this year. The guy's all-around game is everywhere. He keeps improving, which helps his team win, no question. But even if he didn't win a cup, with all his success, I would look and say, Draisaitl, he is trending. When he's done, he might be a top 10 player in the NHL. Honestly. Oilers fans are so blessed that you have McDavid, you've had Gretzky, you've had Messier, now you got Draisaitl, not to mention Curry and Anderson and Coffey and Fury. You go down the list. Lots of other good, really, good role players. I understand all of it. But when we're talking sheer greatness, what Leon Draisaitl is doing is remarkable. And McDavid. But I think Draisaitl still, as odd as it sounds, sometimes gets overlooked in how good he is. Does a lot of things right. Man, how many players go from being a passer to being the best goal scorer in the game? Because no one scores more goals than Draisaitl, right? Not now. 4-time 50-goal scorer. Yeah, Matthews had it 69. I get it. Might be a better shooter than Draisaitl, but I'm just talking goals. And he's also healthier, scores more in the playoffs, and clearly scores big goals. The Oilers are 4-0 in the overtime this year. Not the overtime, in overtime. And Draisaitl is factored in on all 4, 3 goals and an assist. He has elevated his play. And the Conn Smythe Trophy race, I'm telling you, McDavid, there'll be lots of people who vote McDavid because he's McDavid and he's been good, but I could make a strong argument that Leon Draisaitl has had a better playoffs. Not by a lot, just by a bit. 240. We got lots more text. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, when you speak of cap room, isn't the cap going up this year and next from Lee? Oh, yeah. Cap's going up quite a bit, man. It's going to go up to, I think it's $95.5 million next year, and then it goes up to 101 or 102 the following year. And I know, hey, the Oilers are going to have some big tickets. Draisaitl's $14 million kicks in next year. Evan Bouchard's $10 million plus whatever he's going to get kicks in next year. The following year, I'm guessing McDavid's going to be at 16. But the salary cap, from what it was this year till then, it'll go up. Keep in mind, McDavid's goes up, but he's already making 12.5. Like his increase will be the smallest of the three. So it's a little bit easier to absorb. But yeah, the Oilers are going to have some tough decisions, no question. But a lot of teams will. And I'll say this. I would rather have players who make big money who contribute. You never question Draisaitl. Like Draisaitl would be making $14 million this year, and you'd still say, bargain. Right? You would. Because he shows up in the playoffs year after year after year. So does McDavid. So does Evan Bouchard. So you don't have a problem paying those guys big money when they're always producing. The problem is when you pay guys big money and they don't produce. And that is yet to happen for those three. 240, when we return. Ooh, it's become a real favorite on the show. And, I'm liking it today. Just looking in front of me for a little hint on what's coming up next. Thursday on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With all the news about tariffs and price hikes coming our way, you have to be strategic with your money. St. Albert Dodge knows that and has some good news for you. Right now, all Ram 1500s are available with 0% financing for up to 72 months. So think about it. You can get into a brand new Ram 1500 right now at pre-tariff prices, while selection is still good, and pay 0 interest on your financing. That keeps more money in your pocket. And that's how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong. Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
We've been waiting for this since preseason. It's playoff time, and Sports 1440 is your home for all things hockey. Kevin, Lowtide, Jason, and the pre- and post-game shows with Andrew. So many reasons why we're Edmonton's sports leader.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
I won't shave till we bring home the cup.
And I like to do a shot for every playoff goal. My jersey's not coming off until we're the city of champs again.
Want a playoff superstition that always wins? Pick up a bag of Wilhauk beef jerky for every game. Because when it comes to the playoffs, where there's a Wilhauk, there's a way.
Make every playoff game a Wilhockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't bring home the cup with salad.
Ready for the ultimate golf getaway? Stay and play at Wolf Creek Golf Resort. Relax in the beautiful HV Lodge. Their spacious country cabin right off the 9th fairway, perfect for groups with 2 bedrooms, private bathrooms, and a cozy living room overlooking the course. Packages start at just $185 per player. Prefer the outdoors? Book your spot at the Wolf Creek RV Resort, nestled among the fairways. Visit golfnorth.ca/Wolf Creek and make your stay and play dream a reality today.
A fire ban is now in place for northern and central parts of Alberta, where wildfire danger is extreme. Because of hot, windy conditions, wood-burning fires are not permitted on public or private land. For more information about bans or restrictions in your area, visit albertafirebans.ca. To report wildfires in the forest protection area, call 310-FIRE. That's 310-FIRE. A message from the government of Alberta.
Bring your coziest bunny hug as your Edmonton Riverhawks host Sasky Night this Saturday night. Win a mysterious trip to a top secret destination and catch the reveal of this year's alternate jersey. Get your tickets today to watch the Hawks play at gohawks.ca.
It's playoff time, and we've got a lot to talk about. This is Andrew Walker on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. Tune in after every playoff game for the Ridge Social Eatery postgame show. The Ridge is the new hotspot in St. Albert, and it's so good.
I want to tell you a story about the house.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Thursday afternoon. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. We'll come up next hour. We're also going to talk about what I like to say, the legend of Leon Draisaitl and how it continues to grow. Some numbers that we will bat around for you a little bit. But first, it's another edition of Thirsty Thursday. And some of you last night might have turned into a Thirsty Thursday after an Oiler game that saw many of you probably staying out a little bit later than you had originally planned on a Wednesday that turned into a Thursday night. And Thirsty Thursday is always brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, 2 locations, the original, the OG on St. Albert Trail 118th, and then on the southeast side of Edmonton, 50th Street and 92nd Avenue. And today, so they got a special pack. That's what I like about the show. People listen and then they want to go try it out. We got the blue and orange pack as David Owens, once again from Sherbrooke, joins us. Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. A little bit slow myself this morning, but
I'm gonna get you to turn your mic in. There we go.
There we go.
Perfect. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I went to bed with the Pink Pony Club rotating through my brain, and woke up this morning. It was still doing the same thing. So.
Oh, nice.
Crazy.
There you go. You didn't spill on your Perry jersey, did you?
I did not spill on the Perry
now,
jersey.
when Perry's taking 2 back-to-back penalties, like, are you ripping the jersey off? What are you doing?
No, I know he's coming back. He's going to come back. Did you see that dish to McDavid?
That was actually pretty nice.
That was pretty nice. I mean, that whole play was pretty incredible, all through everybody there. So, but redeems himself.
Yeah, he did.
Always.
Now let's start. And
right.
By the way, so these are all local beers we're promoting today.
These are all Edmonton breweries.
Okay.
We decided that we should go full on Edmonton this time around.
All right.
And so we're going to start off with the Growlery, the Blue Liner Lager.
Okay.
This is just a nice, light, crisp lager. And these guys too, they just opened a tasting room in the Mercer Building.
Okay.
So if you're down at the game tomorrow, you need to go check out a cool new place.
The Blue Liner Lager.
Blue Liner Lager. It's
Okay.
nice, just nice, simple, crisp, light lager.
Yeah, that's very smooth, pretty simple. If you like, you're like Struddy would like that. So very just simple, straight lager.
Nice and easy, great hot summer day. Exactly right.
That's to me, that's like a beer and clam.
That is a beer and clam.
Yeah, like certain beers are better with Clamato.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be like you're not doing an ale in Clamato.
No,
at least I wouldn't be.
I'd argue that this next beer we're doing, the Odd Company Tio Juanito Cerveza, is actually better with the Clamato. And this, you do like a Michelada or something like that. So you put the Clamato in there, put your hot sauce, put some Worcestershire. Oh yeah.
Oh geez, you're real
you make it just like a Caesar essentially.
A Caesar beer, but
Caesar beer.
So this is the what is it?
This is the Tio Juanito Cerveza.
Tio
Odd Company.
Odd Company. All right. Oh, lots of local beers out there. I like it. Like Sport Local. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Our whole show, all of us are local, so let's do it.
That's right. And this is all. This is more of a. It's sort of a lager, a light lager style, but they make it with corn, so you get that.
Yeah, it's very different.
Taste is very different from the other lager. If you go back to back with the Growlery, and that's just the difference between using the different grains for sure.
So the corn, what flavor? Like how you can do it better than me. The corn compared to wheat, like what's the difference?
Yeah, well, I think with the corn, you're getting a little bit more of a rounder profile, flavor profile to it. And if you think about God, think about having a potato chip versus a corn chip.
Oh,
Right?
Good
If you think about that
Yeah.
right away,
Mhm.
it's kind of exactly where you're going with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move on to, now we go to wheat.
Now we're going to a wheat beer. Yeah. So this is the SYC Salud Tropical Wheat. So wheat beers are still typically pretty light, but they're a little bit fuller and fruitier than the lagers that are out
Okay.
there. So this one has some tropical notes.
Definitely looks, if that yellow was orange, it would be very much almost
Right.
identical to the orders. So,
Yeah. So this is almost like you smell it.
oh yeah, this very much smells
Smells like a pina colada.
Yes. Orangey.
Orangey.
Oh, I like that. Ooh.
Yeah.
Salud to the salud. I will say that.
That's nice. And it's like 4.3% alcohol too. So nice light summer crusher.
Yeah, one of my
Perfect
friends, I
for these
went
days.
to their house. They gave me this canned margarita without telling me. And I was like, oh God, this is really good. It was 12 and I had two of them and it was 12.5%. And I'm like, why do I feel snapped? I had two
Yeah.
drinks and then I look at the can, 12.5%.
Some of them are pretty crazy. You gotta be
so
careful out there.
This 4.3. I'm like, okay, now I'm back to normal.
Yeah,
So,
you can have a couple of them, right? That's the nice thing about it. So
that one is very, I like the orange taste to it.
Yeah.
It's almost like, because some beers now, they'll serve and they got the orange on the rim, but this is like, it's got the orange already
it's
in.
already right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want
'Cause I don't want that gross orange peel in my beer. That's one thing I don't like. I'm like, squeeze, don't put it in. Like, people have worked in the bar. They always tell me,
we know.
whatever you do, don't dip your fruit.
Don't
leave
fruit.
it sitting in
That's right.
in your beer, boys and girls.
Not the
okay?
beer. Not the beer. You need a high test alcohol to kill whatever is on
Yeah.
that fruit.
100%. Yeah, that's basically what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
right on.
now
So-
we're gonna go. This is Snare Buzz.
So this is the Snare Buzz Polyrhythm Brewing.
Ooh, I like the can.
This is a fantastic company. All their brews or beers and stuff are named
Okay.
sort of after music style things. You'll know
Oh,
what
the
you
Snare
see.
Buzz. Well, yeah, okay, Snare. I get it.
Yeah, they're a fantastic brewery, not too far away from our original location, actually. So this is a New England IPA, so really hazy, juicy, hop forward, but not quite as bitter as some other IPAs.
Yeah, like it's not it's very hazy. Like literally, you can't. Obviously, you have clean lagers. Usually, you can just hold up the glass, you see right through it. Not this one.
No, and you get a little bit, that haziness. You get a little bit extra body to it as well, and so it's a little bit, heavier on the.
What
on the
makes it
mouthfeel.
hazy? Like, why is? Because some people are like, I don't want to drink beer I can't see through. What's with the haze?
It's just whether it's different filtration processes and the the different mash bills they put
Seems
into
to have
it.
more flavor.
It's got lots of flavor.
Yeah,
This is a big flavor. This
I
one's
like
also
the Snare Buzz. Ooh.
This one's also a bit higher in the ABV. So this one's 6.7. So
Well, you know what though? You need less of them.
you just need less of them.
Yeah, less is
Yeah.
more. So
Good.
Snare Buzz.
Snare Buzz.
I have to
Yeah.
say, I like it. I like it a lot. Now remember, this is the 6-pack. You stop in, you want to try the. Now this is your opportunity if you're a beer lover, where you can try 6 different beers at once. It comes in the blue and orange pack. And remember, if you go to Sherbrooke tomorrow, you get 10% off. Just wear your order. Well, you get 10% off any day if you're wearing your order gear, right?
Orders here for game days. Yeah.
On game day.
Yeah, on game
So
days.
tomorrow,
Tomorrow, get
Friday.
in there.
Plan it up because something tells me a lot of our listeners will be planning big parties tomorrow night.
Like tomorrow's gonna be a big night for sure.
Oh God! Like neighborhoods. How many people's neighborhoods last night when the goal goes in?
Oh.
All of a sudden you can hear your neighbors cheering. Horns are honking. Like everybody's in. If you're not watching hockey, and I know there's some people, well, obviously not listening to our station because it'd be like if you're listening to sports station but you don't watch the playoffs, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Like
great.
thanks for listening, by the way, but I'd be questioning what's going on. So last night, what the playoffs do is even and it's okay. There's diehard fans who are there all the time. And those who aren't, I've never understood people. Well, if you don't watch all year, you can't watch. What are you talking about? If they start watching the playoffs, they might watch 10% more the next year because now
That's
they're a
right.
little bit more invested.
Yeah, I've got lots of friends that are watching right now that don't watch all season long, and they're
Yeah.
right into it, and loving it. They got their iPads out in their backyard, and watching all night. And they're, we got a big text chains between our groups of friends, and it's a beauty thing about being, an Edmonton playoff season.
Yes.
For sure.
So now this looks like a pineapple beer.
Yeah,
Are you
so this
kidding
one
me?
is this is the pineapple peppercorn saison. Do you remember saisons were that Belgian sort of style
Yeah.
that were they're summer beers. So they were brewed in the fall or the spring to be consumed during the summer for the farmers in the fields. So they're typically brewed at a lighter ABV. This one's a little bit higher at 6.5%, but yeah, all about that pineapple-y peppercorn.
Now that is a unique taste because you'd think it's going to be sweet because of the pineapple, but it's not sweet.
No.
And there's just enough of an aftertaste, just a little peppery.
Yeah, and that's that spiciness that cuts down on the sweetness. So it's that perfect, really nice balance of that. And so you get a really, complex and spicy flavor profile. And it's also really dry at the end. So it doesn't leave you with a long aftertaste.
Yes.
It's nice and crisp. And that was the whole goal of a Saison, was to be something that was really thirst quenching and light alcohol for the farmers and farm workers to not get blitzed while they were working, but also have something, something refreshing, right?
It's true. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah.
So,
it's a hell of a job, though. If your boss is like, "Hey, you need a beer on coffee break," yeah, that's right, but just not enough to get blitzed.
Just not enough to get
Okay,
blitzed,
I like
yeah.
the taste.
It's a good
Get me
start,
through it.
yeah.
So I just like the fact that there's a pineapple peppercorn.
Peppercorn. So that's the Irrational Brewings. They're the Autonomic Mind.
I'm gonna guess a lot of our listeners have never tried it. This is a very unique blend that you've brought today.
It's a really good mix of stuff, and it really showcases how awesome the beer scene here is in Edmonton, and how great our local breweries and how far they've come.
Yeah. And now the last one is a strong beer, but it says strong beer, but it's 5.8. So it's strong, but it's not great. It's a wild ale with blood orange.
That's correct. So
And the look lives up to the name. I'll say
It
that.
does, yeah. So this is Trial and Ale. Bob, it's a sour and wild beer, so mixed fermented and barrel aged. And so it's a sour, it's a wild ale. So you're gonna get some very different flavor profiles than some of the other ones here.
All right. Woo! That's almost a little like sour tart to it.
It's tart.
Holy
No,
cow!
I've got some tartness
And
to it.
I like sour, but what's good about this? If you buy this 6-pack, because some people out there they love sour. Like if I'm gonna have some gummies, I want sour ones. I don't want the ones without.
Yeah.
And not the gummies that you young kids are
Yeah,
eating.
yeah.
Okay, I'm just talking to my old school old guy bulk barn gummies. Okay, but I prefer sour way more.
Yeah.
This beer is
Having 6 of them might be a bit much, but having one,
Mhm.
when you've had something else is a really nice addition.
It's a very unique taste to it. Not much, like a slight aftertaste, a bitterness.
A little bit, yeah. It's
Yeah.
that tartness.
Mhm.
It's like remember sweet tarts when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Well, can you get those or the rockets that you'd get in your
rockets
from trick or treating, right?
Oh God,
almost
yeah.
that kind of flavor profile, in
Yes,
there, right?
yeah. But completely different than the previous 5. Like not even close.
Yeah, all very different beers, which is cool and showcases just how great Edmonton is.
Yeah. Well, so these are all local Edmonton beers. So if you want to support local, which I know all you do, stop in at Sherbrooke and remember where your order. You wear an order hat, bring a flag, have your dog in one of their order shirts. You get 10% off on game days. And starting tonight, though, you can stop in on your way home if you want to get the orange and blue power pack.
Yeah, these packs are already built and put together at both store.
Now
both
they've
locations.
sold out in the past. We had a few texters. So do you have a few extras this time?
We put together several flats were made of it. Were made today.
All
So
right.
Stephen was working hard, tearing packs apart to rebuild them, and so we've got it.
Steve's the pack builder.
He was today.
He was today.
He
Good
was
job,
today.
Steve.
That's right.
Good job.
He was doing great. He was doing
Nice.
great work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
It takes a team.
Well,
Right?
it does. Yeah.
You can't.
Hey,
do
just
this
like the
individually.
orders, right?
Just
Not
like
everybody
the
gets to
orders.
do the flashy job, right?
No.
The McDavid doesn't want to block shots like Wallman.
That's right. That's right.
Doesn't want to do it. So
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. You were talking earlier about people not watching and how crazy that is, and I was thinking back in '97 and that comeback, and what was 2 minutes we came back 3 goals from behind and made Buckberger, right?
Yeah.
He's starved, got that 3rd goal and got the overtime winner in that. And I remember people at the billiard club coming in their jerseys. I'm like, why aren't you guys watching the game? They're like, we lost, man. It was over. I'm like, no, man, you left the game early.
Oh, that was when people literally left. They didn't turn the radio on because there were people that went across back then. It was the Capilano Bridge, wheeled
Right.
up 106th Ave and came back.
Came back.
Because it's a different world. Like nowadays, if you leave the arena, they won't let you back in.
No.
Right now, people probably wouldn't leave. I don't think as much. Oilers haven't been in a situation where they're down 3-0 because there was 4 minutes to go and they scored 3 goals in like 2 minutes and 28 seconds or whatever the number was.
Yeah, it was
And
crazy.
then Buckberger won it in overtime. And on a year where that was against the Stars and the Oilers were the big underdog and the Stars had way more money, it's like double the salary cap. That was kind of peak Oilers because they'd been out of the playoffs for 4 years.
yeah.
And really for Oilers fans, they were so spoiled. They'd never experienced losing because they came in the league in 80. They made the playoffs every year. And really from 82, although that was the Miracle in Manchester upset, but they still upset the Habs in their second year. Then 83 Cup Final, 84 Cup Final, 85 Cup Final, Steve Smith goal. 87, 88 Cup Final. 89, lose to Gretzky. 90 Cup Final. 91, 92 Conference Final. Like, Oiler fans like, we make the playoffs and we win rounds. Usually we go to the Conference Final. And then it was 4 years where they just right in the ditch. And so imagine that 4 years. Younger fans now, the decade of darkness, are like, what? 4 years?
That's right.
What are those punts doing? We did a decade. We did a 12 out of 13 years.
Yeah, it was a tough 4 years, though. It was exciting. It was an exciting time getting back to those games.
Oh, yeah. Well, 97 brought a lot of fans back. Curtis Joseph, the save, was unreal. Then in 98, when they're down 3-1 to Colorado, and they knock out Patrick Waugh and Joe Sakic and Peter Forsberg and back-to-back shutouts. Mike Greer maybe the greatest empty net goal ever in Oilers playoff history in that series against Colorado.
Oh, that guy was a beauty.
Yeah. And so, you know what? We were talking earlier just about certain moments that get people to become fans and they remember it. I was like the Draisaitl goal will be one. The Kapanen overtime winner to clinch the series in a 0-0 game against Vegas. That's going to be remembered, especially if the Oilers win the cup. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's lots of people who've never seen them win a cup. And there's lots of young people now. You're 18 or 19. You're just like, you're like fans in the 80s. Honestly, you're just like, well, we go to the cup final. That's what we do.
That's what we do. Yeah.
Right? So enjoy it because trust me, it ain't always like that at all. Like really 3 out of the last 4 years, I went to the conference final. It's pretty, there's Dallas, there's Tampa, there's Florida, and there's Edmonton. That's it. That's all you put in that category. So, and the Oilers now, they still need 3 more wins. But you win a game last night. You break the bubble of Florida, who under Paul Maurice had never lost a game when they were leading after the first and second. Ever.
That's crazy.
Under Maurice in the playoffs. 31-0 until last night. So there's always, to me, signs of why a team is, people call it a team of destiny. I don't disagree with that term because you need some things to go your way sometimes. But you also have to earn it and work on it. And hey, last night, Stuart Skinner made some huge saves early in overtime, and then the team took over.
Absolutely.
So get the Orange and Blue pack, Dave, down at Sherbrooke Liquor. It'll probably be gone quickly, so you want to get down there. Highly recommend it. I would say for me, geez, they were all good, but the Salud, the Snare Buzz, the Pineapple Peppercorn, and then the last one, like those 4, they're very different. I can't pick one, but I like them all. This would be a perfect pack to have because your buddies come over and you're like, well, you want this one? You want that one?
Yeah.
There's all sorts of difference, right? And they're big enough because they're in super cans. You can pour them in each. You guys split each one. Hey, you try this one. I'll try this one. It's unreal. It's a share pack.
It's a share pack. Yeah. And we've got a few other ones that we always have a hot pack there for mixed IPAs and things like that as well. So there's always like 2 or 3 different mixed packs that we put together. So you can always have something different to try.
Awesome. Dave, thanks for this, buddy. Have a good one.
Right on. Thank you.
That's David Owens joins us every Thursday here on the Sports 1440. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Only no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay warm or cool all summer. LegacyHeating.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Game day in the city is the Riverhawks are going to complete the sweep over Victoria. First pitch, 7:05 tonight down at Remax Field. The RBC Open right now out in Ontario. Torbjorn Olesen atop the leaderboard. He is 9 under par through 17. You got Cristobal Del Solar at -8 and Cameron Champ at 7 under par. As for the Canadians in the running right now, Taylor Pendrith 5 under, Nick Taylor 4 under par, and a handful. Hunter Thompson, Brett Webster, Mackenzie Hughes, all there at 3 under par. In the association night, game 1 of the finals gets going just after 6:30. Thunder taking on the Pacers from OKC. Major League Baseball right now. Blue Jays in action. They lead the Phillies 9-1. This one in the top of the 7th. Elsewhere, Tigers and White Sox tied at 2. The Athletics have a 12-1 lead over the Twins, and the Orioles trail the Mariners 3-1 heading into the 6th. According to reports, Aaron Rodgers will be a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. After all, the 20-year veteran telling the team he intends to fly to Pittsburgh on Friday and sign with the team before their mini camp later in the week. Last season, the 41-year-old pivot finished with just under 4,000 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. And how about this? Uzbekistan qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup today after a draw with United Arab Emirates. It's the first time the Central Asian nation has qualified for the quadrennial tournament. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Jeff Merrick from The Sheet, and we'll speed things up in the Cantor Racing Report with Colin Livingston. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Hey, Alberta. The all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app, right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza. For
Afternoon, how are you? And
Papa
well,
John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients.
Especially
topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza.
What's the dilemma
Papa
like
John's,
that's
proudly
going on?
locally owned and operated.
Back by popular demand, the Operation 36 Junior Golf Program at
Connor
Cattail
Halley.
Crossing Golf Club. Designed for kids ages 5 through 17. It combines instruction and on-course play, focusing on technique, strategy, and course management. Taught by certified CPGA pros. Only $325 for 4 weeks of instruction, plus 4 9-hole rounds of golf. Operation 36, Wednesdays 5:30 till 7:30 p.m. through August. Register at cattailcrossing.ca. Click on Junior Program or call 780-973-6686.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about
The
some
salary
cool
cap.
beats
Nice,
while I drop the
nice.
heat?
Ready when then they want to go try it out. We got the blue and orange. That's what I like about the
Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Always have
Legacy's gonna
something
love
different to
this
try.
crazy season.
Awesome.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep, unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast.
Visit drvancelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Spring cleanup is a breeze with the Lawnmower Hospital and BCS Market Garden Equipment. Winter left a mess, and the Lawnmower Hospital brings you solutions. From BCS tillers and rotary plows to power harrows and two-wheel garden tractors that go places a traditional tractor wouldn't dare. You'll find everything BCS at the Lawnmower Hospital, including attachments, accessories, hitches, wheels, and tires, plus more. See lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio, the team in Ulster. Edema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation. They can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, back with you. Declan Kluger running things at Oilers Nation. YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. How are you? The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in our lovely province, boys and girls. So even if you lose, you still win. PlayAlberta.ca, where tonight It is the daily grand. $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. Woo, mama. Cons, is that game live that we're watching in studio?
It is, yeah.
Wow, the Jays are just humming, pumping the Phillies today.
Kind of nice, yeah.
Yeah, they need it. They need a win. So, good. All right. The offense is starting to slowly wake up for the Toronto Blue Jays. 833-401-1440 is our text line. I do want to go over some numbers because I was talking about the Oilers and just, their run and how well lots of different players are playing, and you still need your great ones. And Leon Draisaitl, I ran into Leon's parents. I'd never officially met them until last night. And as I was walking out of the Oilers dressing room, you have to walk down the hallway past the dressing room to go over to the big main area. And there are his parents, and I knew who Peter was. I've just never actually formally introduced myself. So I walked over, and Peter and Sandra were there. And so I talked to Peter, and you know what? Obviously, they're super happy. And, I was informing how, he just tied an NHL record, and, it's kind of crazy. And so I just asked him, so how is it his parents, like, you're in overtime? They were actually sitting in section 130, which was right behind the net where Draisaitl scored the overtime winner. And because, Sandra was joking how they didn't really see his first goal because people were still standing up early in the game. And so they didn't actually see clearly his first goal, but they obviously saw the second one. And, they're more excited. And Peter was a player. He actually played against Canada in the Olympics in 1994 for Germany. Or maybe it was 92, one of the two, either one. And, and he coached for a long, long time. And so I just asked him, like, how is it to be a parent? Right? Your son's, it's in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And he laughs, goes, you know what? Like, I try to tell myself, like, you can't do anything. You can't control anything. And he says, but it's the worst. So it is interesting, like, as a fan, like, think about how emotionally attached you are as a fan, right? Like, you want your Oilers, like, you live and breathe Oilers, you want them to win. Now, many of you are also parents of your son and daughter in U10, U13, whatever sport, whatever it is. And when they have a chance, right, oh, geez, maybe they're in the playoffs of U11, and you're like, oh, geez, it's kind of nervous. I want to see little Johnny or little Jill do well. Well, now take that to a Stanley Cup final game, and you're in an atmosphere where it's impossible not to, I think, feel the energy. Like, how could you watch the game last night and just be kind of like stoic and calm, sit back in your chair, like, oh, hey, it's just a game. Like, hey, I'd like him to win. Like, there's no chance. There's no chance. And it's a little bit different, I would think, for the European parents, because so, like, I was talking to the players afterwards. And so Connor McDavid, every year he gets to play a game in Toronto, right? It's kind of like his hometown. I know it's not officially his hometown, but it's right there, right? Kids, Brett Kulak, he's from Stony Plain, so you're playing in home. Even when he was in Montreal and other places, you get to play in your hometown. Or you get to play to somebody that's a close facsimile, right? If you're a Saskatchewan kid, your parents, they'll drive to Calgary, they'll drive to Edmonton to get to watch you play. Sometimes if you're playing for another team and, you do a road trip, let's say you're playing for, I don't care, Anaheim. You're a Saskatchewan kid. Your parents usually come. They can come to Calgary. They come to Edmonton. They come a few times a year. Not to mention maybe they'll fly down to see you. Great. But you're a European parent. Number one, you don't even get to watch a lot of the games live. You know what Peter told me he does? Because he goes, man, the games are on at 2 a.m. I'm not watching it live. Like, he'll record the games. But he says the first thing he does before he watches the game is he checks the box score. And do you know what the first thing he looks for in the box score? Time on ice. Because he goes, if he's playing 20 minutes, then I know he didn't get hurt. Like, and that's, I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's a parent thing to do. Doesn't worry about the goals. Doesn't worry about the assist. Did he get hurt? Is he healthy? Okay, good. Then he goes and, he'll watch it. And obviously they're raving just about the crowds. Obviously they've been in Edmonton for Leon's whole life. So they've been here many times, but yeah, it's still, Sandra was very funny as a hockey mom, like a lot of hockey moms. She was just, oh, I was so nervous. I can barely watch. So it's interesting to kind of get the perspective right in the moment afterwards from families. Cause you think about how excited you are, and obviously they're going to be excited. And Even Leon, when I asked him about his parents and just being able there, he's like, you know what, like to score an overtime winner, and your parents are there. Because here's the thing: when guys go out to warm up, even as an NHL player, there's a quick little glance. Oh, where's mom and dad sitting? Right? Well, where's your girlfriend? Where's your wife? They do it. They all do. You never lose that. Right? And it's no different for a hockey kid. That's why it doesn't matter what level of sport your son or daughter plays. That's really irrelevant. What matters is that when they look in the crowd, they know mom and dad are there. Now, not every game, right? But, hopefully most games, one or two of the parents are there. And sometimes grandparents, siblings, aunts and uncles, cousins, whoever, friends. There's just something reassuring. And it doesn't even change at the NHL level at all. It's pretty unique. So, let's see. Hey, boys, Nosek only played 9 minutes. Could that be why he panicked and put the puck over the boards? Jerry with a G, not a J. I honestly don't know. I did like the quote afterwards from, and I can't remember which player said. He goes, "Hey, we're just going to make sure he doesn't eat alone tonight." Like, obviously, it's a mistake. Wishes he could have it back. There's no question, but we see it a lot of times. And I know there's lots of people last night saying how they don't like that. That's a stupid rule. And it's like, well, why? Well, in basketball, if you throw it out of the court, it's okay. But here's the question. Here's the difference. Did basketball, because, oh, by the way, every time you throw the ball out of the play, it's an automatic turnover. So no one's ever purposely throwing the ball out of play on a regular basis. But in hockey, it got to the point where defensemen were always like, oh, we're under pressure, flip it out of play, right? It became a smart play, and it reduced offensive chances. So I understand why the rule's in play, and I actually quite like it. You're the best player in the world. You want to go glass it out? No problem. Go glass it out. Don't go off. Don't go above the glass, or you get a penalty. Everybody knows the rules. This isn't new. And just because it's the playoffs, why should it change? It's consistent. What's the one thing people talk? Oh, geez, I wish the refereeing was more consistent in the playoffs. Here's the one rule that is, without a doubt, consistent. Right? Over the glass, it's a penalty. There's no arguing. There's no debating. It's a penalty. And unfortunate for Nosek, great for the Edmonton Oilers. Because that's the key. You can get a break, but then it's up to you to take advantage of it. If the Oilers don't score in that power play, who knows what happens? Right? Florida goes to intermission. The power play's almost over. They're like, hey, we got 17 seconds left to kill off and to start the second overtime. This is awesome. Right? Like, they would have actually, they would have probably had momentum. So it's a huge goal for the Oilers at that moment. And that goal last night, I just want to recap for Leon Draisaitl what that goal meant. So he became the fifth player in NHL history to score 3 overtime goals in one playoff year. Mel Hill from Boston did it in 1939. Maurice Richard, 51. Corey Perry with the Ducks in 17. And Matthew Tkachuk in Florida in 2023. But Mel Hill was the only one who actually won the Stanley Cup. So Leon Draisaitl could join him as only the second player to have 3 overtime goals in 1 year and win the Stanley Cup. It's a big deal. Also, he tied Glenn Anderson for the Oilers record for most playoff overtime goals in 1 year with 3. He set the Oilers record for most overtime goals in 1 year with 3. Sorry. He tied Anderson for most in a career with 3, but he set the Oilers record for most in 1 year. Esa Tikkanen had 2. Obviously, Draisaitl tied him earlier. That's it. That's the only 2 players that have ever even had 2 overtime goals in 1 playoff year. Now Draisaitl has 3. He also, last night, that was his 50th career playoff goal. He joins Nathan MacKinnon as the only active players to have scored 50 goals in fewer than 100 playoff games. He did it in his 91st game. MacKinnon did it in his 89th. For a quick comparison, here's some other guys that are pretty big goal scorers. Do you know how many playoff goals Steven Stamkos has? 50. He's played 128 games. Nikita Kucherov has 53. He's played 153 games. Patrick Kane, 53 playoff goals. 143 games. Brad Marchand, 61 in 175. Corey Perry, 61 in 232. Malkin has 67 in 177. Crosby has 71 playoff goals in 130 games. And then Ovechkin has the most. He has 77 in 161. So Draisaitl and Nathan McKinnon, who has 55 and 95, are both right now on pace to have the most goals amongst active players in the play, and really, climb the ranks of the goal scorers. Like Draisaitl's got 50, and he's only played 90 games, 91. He's going to end up with 80 or 90. Very realistically, he could. Now, it's going to be tough for anybody, let's be honest, to catch Gretzky when it comes to all-time playoff points, 382. Also, all-time playoff goals. There's only 4 players in NHL history to have 100 goals in the playoffs. Brett Hall has 103, Curry 106, Messier 109, Gretzky 122. Now, what do they have in common? They all played at least 200 NHL games. Now, Leon Draisaitl's at 91. However many games left they got in the series, minimum 3. I don't think we'll see a sweep, but minimum 3. So that puts him at 94. So he has lots of other time to get to 200. He's going to have to play for many years. But the way the orders are going, they're going to have a few other deep runs. They're not going to make the Cup final every year. We all know that. But how many more Cup finals will they have? He has a new 8-year contract that kicks in next year. They can make to the Cup final at least twice more. I don't think that's unrealistic. 2 in the next 8 years. I don't think that'd be crazy. So, that would be another 20 plus games. So he'll have a decent chance to be like 180. Like, actually, Glenn Anderson's the only other guy who's even over 90. Like, it's a pretty quick drop off from 100 down to 90. Then you get to Mike Bossy at 85. Joe Sakic, who's a hell of an overtime goal scorer. He's got 7 of them. He's got 84 career playoff goals. So Leon Draisaitl is off to an unreal start when it comes to just his playoff career. His 1.46 points per game is what he had entering the playoffs, was his 4th best amongst players who played at least 35 games. Now he's actually increased it to 1.48 because he's at 1.59 this year. I mentioned it, the other stat, he is 3 points shy. There's only 2 players in NHL history who have scored 30 points in 3 different playoff years. Gretzky did it 6 times. Messier did it 3 times. Oiler fans, you're very spoiled. Draisaitl needs 3 points. McDavid needs 2 to become the 3rd and 4th players all time. Wild. Like, wild. What about Draisaitl's overtime winner? It was a power play goal. That was his 21st power play goal in the playoffs. Gretzky owns the Oilers record at 23. Anderson and Curry have 22. Draisaitl's going to own that record. Just a matter of when. Brett Hall owns the NHL record for 38 power play goals. Gretzky and Bossy each have 35. Draisaitl at 21, on pace to push for that as well. How good he is on the power play. So, and then lastly, he's now up to 135 power play points. Here's some, and so it's 46th all time. He hasn't even played 100 games. Look at some of the legends he's going to pass. Phil Esposito has 137. Patrick Kane, 138. Jacques Lemaire, 139. Corey Perry, 138. They've all played between 130 and 230 games. Draisaitl's at 91. Most likely he'll be at 140 plus before this season's over. His running mate, McDavid, is 10 points ahead of him. He's already at 145. We're talking, the more Leon Draisaitl plays is just the higher he climbs in the ranking of all-time great players in the game. And it's impressive. And I still think at times it gets overlooked because of McDavid. Hey, Gregor, I noticed Draisaitl wasn't wearing the assistant captain last night. Has this been for a while? Do you know why? From Bruno. Yeah, Bruno, they rotate. He doesn't wear it every game. They always rotate between him, Nurse, and Nugent Hopkins. So that's how it works. There's not, he doesn't wear an A 100% of the time. They rotate. So nothing to it, nothing bad. It's good. Hey, Gregor, I knew you were going to talk about parents as I watched the post-game interviews and heard your question. I want to know, what's it like asking a question after a guy who asked a bad question? And doing so, it annoyed McDavid. He looked like he was Clubber Lang from Rocky III, the rest of the questions. Well, it's not ideal, but, you haven't been a reporter if you don't ask a question a guy doesn't like at some point, right? That's going to happen. I don't know, in that situation on the podium, I don't love it because sometimes if you ask a question, a guy gives you a really good answer, you want to follow it up with something, but you can't because in that big scrum, there's like 200 reporters. So you know what? You're just lucky to get it. You get an opportunity to ask the question at the Stanley Cup Finals. So just because not everybody does. So it's lucky to get in there. McDavid right now, it's interesting you mentioned that because like he's ultra focused right now, like more than I think I've ever seen him. Like he's kind of got a little bit of the crustiness on him all the time. And that's okay. I get it. Like the guy, I don't think anybody puts more pressure on themselves than McDavid. Or like even Leon Draisaitl, and I call him the grumpy German at times, is a little bit, Connor, I think he's laughed twice at a question. And some of the questions are really good. He's still just like, he's ultra focused and serious. Now you watch Connor McDavid, and I thought about it today. If they win, you're going to see like a switch. And there is going to be so much relief for him because it would be hard to be Connor McDavid because you're held to such an incredibly high standard. And then you got to live up to it. That's very hard. Quick break. We'll return. Jeff Merrick will join us next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Mr. Rooter toasts the newlyweds.
A relationship is like a hot water tank. It brings warmth, but only if you start with a spark. Your love is the pilot light, and the burner is your love growing from that tiny spark. And the anti-corrosion anode rod is the sacrifices you make for each other to keep things from getting all gross and crusty. May your love last as long as a Mr. Rooter workmanship guarantee. For life.
For a plumber you'll keep for life, call Mr. Rooter.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Are you an elite athlete or weekend warrior and you just want to enjoy playing the sport you love with less or even no pain? Have you tried every exercise and stretch imaginable, hoping the next one might do the trick? Well, you tried analog. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe healing can move along better and sometimes even faster with evidence-based technology techniques and the people who know how and when to apply it. StimPod, zero-gravity treadmills, radial shockwave, and so much more at your fingertips when you click to find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
They are nice, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
So I just said, well, what did he finish first and second? Like, which events? She's like, oh my God, I knew you'd ask. I don't know. I'm like, no. That's why I'm like, the 100 meters is straight line. The 200 meters half the lap. 400 meters one lap. The 800 meters 2 laps. Figure it out.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor. Sherbrooke's a house of curiosities, a mom and pop, a curated experience that is equal parts wine tastings and 2 fours from May long. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.331. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Hope you are having a lovely Thursday. If you're an Oilers fan, it's pretty hard not to. Even if you woke up tired because you stayed up late, you couldn't sleep, you're too excited, or you know what? All of a sudden, you don't know what happened. Right? You went in with the best of intentions. You know what? We're going to go. I'm going to go to the game, or maybe I'm going to the Moss Pit, work, church, and home. Didn't really pan out for you, did it? Today's maybe you're moving a little bit slower. But the great part is tomorrow you'll be like, oh, I'm doing it all again. This is unbelievable. It's the playoffs. Got to show up. Play hurt if you have to. That's what you got to do. Let's get to our big guest of the day now, brought to you by the Female Super League, the FSL, designed to elevate female youth hockey. 12U, 14U, and now starting this year, 16U. Perfect timing with the expansion for the PWHL. If your daughter wants to chase the dream, do it at femalesuperleague.com as we are welcomed in by Jeff Merrick from The Sheet and dailyfaceoff.com. Jeffrey, good afternoon. How you doing?
I am well. I am in Buffalo for the NHL Draft Combine, but what a night that was last night. Holy smokes. There are always those games where you're like, I wish I was there. I wish I was there last night, Jason. I wish I was there.
Yeah, it was an electric performance, and really, like, it was kind of an odd game. There was 21 icings in the game. It was physical. Each team had long stretches where they were dominating a period, right? Yep. First was the Oilers, second was the Panthers, third was the Oilers. First 5 minutes of OT were all Florida, and then after that, it was all Edmonton. Give me your thoughts on, first of all, what do you think of the Bennett goal?
Geez. I mean, he's the best at straddling the line. Like, does he do that accidentally on purpose? Like, the skates clicked, like, sure. I mean, do you ever give Sam Bennett the benefit of the doubt in a situation like that? No. Do you give Corey Perry the benefit of the doubt in a situation like that? No. But it was the right call. I'm fine. But again, if you take away the, like, I'm always wondering, if you take away the name bar and you take away the number and it was somebody else on the Florida Panthers, maybe you look at it a different way. But, you know, what's the old saying, Jason? I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night. Mm-hmm. I think that Sam Bennett knew exactly what was happening at that time and what the preferred course of falling was for him.
Yeah. No, that is totally valid. He might have known what was coming, shall we say?
Can I make one point? Did we talk about this last time about the physics and blue paint on ice? I don't know what it is about blue paint on ice, but whenever players step on ice that has blue paint on it, I don't know, gravity becomes that much more profound. I don't know, gravity becomes that much deeper. I don't know, the gravitational forces just multiply. I don't know. But players seem to really go down easier when there's blue paint on the ice. It's quite a phenomenon. Haven't quite figured that one out. Well, I send that one back to the lab.
I think it dulls your skates, right? The blue, somehow it dulls your skates. Guys lose their balance a little bit.
They're like the strongest athletes in the world. Every other area of the ice. Can't lift up their sticks, can't get them off the puck, can't cross-check them. They're keeping their balance, but a little tap in the blue ice, and man, they're going down like the president in Dealey Plaza. I don't know what it is, Jason. I don't know.
Now, Stuart Skinner, I felt like he was the better goalie last night. At the end of the day, you look at the Arvidsson goal on Bobrovsky, it's kind of the difference. Yeah. Like that was the difference really in the game.
Skinner was great. You know, I really liked how he sealed up in that one sequence where Sam Reinhart is playing Harlem Globetrotters with the puck. and then bouncing it, and like calm, cool, everything's zipped up, everything's sealed up, and Sam Reinhart just sort of skates back to the bench, shaking his head as he, maybe a different version of Stuart Skinner may have tried to force something that wasn't there. Like, that's the thing about Skinner, and that's kind of the thing about the Oilers right now. Like, they're calm. They're calm through all of it. There's no panic. Talking to people from the organization the day before game one, I'm like, the weight of the country on your shoulders. Yeah, we don't feel it. No, we're confident. Yeah, it sucks that Hyman's out, and that's going to be a real drag. And, but, Kane's going to answer the bell and calm guys down. And listen, Kane went out and did that. But there's just like this quiet confidence that comes along with a team hitting its stride, which you get when every player not only knows their role, but also accepts their role. And I think that's what you're seeing with the Edmonton Oilers. But back to your previous point, yeah, like that Arvidsson goal can't go in. Like, that one's gotten over. Now, I did think Bobrovsky was really good, though. Like,
oh yeah, no, he was.
Edmonton threw a lot of pucks on him, but in a game where the difference can be one save, that Arvidsson goal. Bless him for scoring it, but that's not a goal that should be going in on a goaltender who's destined for the Hall of Fame.
Leon Draisaitl became only the third player, and this is a fun stat, but only the third player ever to score a goal in the first 2 minutes of a game, and the overtime winner. Pisani did it, and then Sid Smith back in 1951. But he also became only the fifth player in NHL history to have 3 overtime goals in one playoff year. Hill and Richard, Corey Perry, Matthew Tkachuk, funny enough, 3 of them on the ice last night. But Leon Draisaitl, just his ability to score the big goals, Jeff. And I know McDavid had, his 2 assists. He's got 1 more point, 28-27. But if you look at the Conn Smythe today, who would you give it to?
Oh boy, that is, it's funny. We're having that debate on the sheet today. Like, if you were voting today, would it be Connor McDavid? Would it be Leon Draisaitl? And maybe it's just the recency bias of watching, Leon have this command performance. But right now, even though Connor McDavid is leading in points and defensively he's been excellent, so has Leon. I'm probably leaning Leon Draisaitl. Like, to me, nobody in the NHL, and it might help that he has, the longest blade of anybody in the NHL. We haven't seen a blade this long since Pavel Datsyuk with the Detroit Red Wings. What I'm always impressed at is how he can use the puck, like, not just in one part of his blade, but like all up and down his blade. Like, you watch him play and you think, like, okay, he's got these impossible angles that he scores from all the time. And you say to yourself, well, that's a Leon Draisaitl goal. I still marvel at how he can wheel the puck like up and down that blade. Some guys just like to have it right in the pocket, and that's where they keep it, and that's where they're comfortable. Have a shorter blade, keep the puck more close to him. Leon, to me, is a freak. He's one of my favorite players to watch. I mean, even if you're not an Oilers fan, you got to respect just how outstanding this guy is. So, long-winded answer again from me, Jason. If I'm going with Conn Smythe right now, I'm probably leaning Leon.
Yeah,
I'm probably leaning Leon for how clutch he's been.
Yeah, McDavid's been phenomenal too, but the Oilers have played 4 playoff games, and Draisaitl has 3 goals and assists, right? Like, so it's hard to go against him in the big moments.
Hey,
he's got leads them in goals.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Who's the guy wearing Kapanen's jersey?
Buddy Kasperi. Are you kidding me? That guy was unreal again last night.
Not, like that's not Kapanen, right? Like, we're used to like the sloppy plays and the neutral zone turnovers, and like that's not that Kasperi. Is that a different Kasperi Kapanen? Is that like what are we seeing here? This guy is incredible. Like whether it's the Maple Leafs, whether it's Pittsburgh Penguins, like take your pick, St. Louis Blues. I mean, guy's a freaking waiver acquisition. He's a different player. Like, that's not the Kasperi Kapanen that we've all watched since he joined the NHL. Like, he looks profoundly different than we've ever seen him play. That game, I mean, the speed is obviously the calling card. That's why they got it. They had that element of speed. But, like, I don't know that I've seen anyone clean up their game as fast as Kasperi Kapanen has. Like, he's not the turnover machine anymore. He's safe with the puck.
Mm-hmm.
So chase it. Like, he's a different cat out there, Jason.
Well,
what's this last night? Look great.
He made 5 or 6 unbelievably good plays on the wall to get the puck out. And I'm not like his rush in overtime. Had he scored that goal, that would have been one of the greatest overtime goals we've ever seen, right? But like he was all over the game. He's physical, he's passing, but his play on the wall was what I noticed, and it stood out to me. And Florida, like, because Kane had a really good game everywhere except on the wall in his own zone, right? Whereas Kapanen was unbelievable there.
Kapanen was great. Kane hit. What did he end up with? Was it 9 hits last night?
Yeah.
Like Kane was the guy that said like, hey, we know like Hyman's out here, but don't think that you're going to take advantage of it. And he just went out there and tried to wreck everybody. Speaking of board play, in that Dallas series, actually, like everyone on this team right now understands and accepts their role. Victor Arvidsson along the boards is great in that Dallas series.
Mm-hmm.
He was, and we think of Arvidsson like, find me open ice, get me the clean shot. Like that's Victor Arvidsson. Well, like the goal yesterday, right? Find me the open ice in front of the net. That's Victor Arvidsson. Here he is wearing out Dallas Stars defenseman along the board. I know he's an aggressive player and he gives it all out there, but like that was some of the best board play I've ever seen out of Victor Arvidsson. It was remarkable. Like again, like this is a team, and again, it's one game here, Merrick, so calm down. But like this is a team that looks like almost, even though some of the play was sloppy yesterday, like they're wired in on what they all have to do.
Yeah.
Like this is my assignment. This is my job. If I do my job, someone else is going to do their job. And I trust that they will do it. And I won't have to, unless you're Evander Kane, you're making up for the lost hits from Zach Hyman. I'm going to trust my teammates to do what they have to do. And everything is like clicking together right now. It's fun to watch. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it totally is. Jeff Merrick joins us. So Jeff, Florida, hey, they've been in the Cup. They won last year. They're not going to go away. But I thought Edmonton, for longer stretches of the game, controlled the game. And even doing what they, like Edmonton dumped and chased more than I think they have in any game this year. So if you're Florida, what do you think you'll do different? Because I thought Sam Bennett was head and shoulders their best player. I thought Reinhart and Barkov were rather quiet.
Sam Bennett was the best player on the Florida Panthers last night, full stop. Although I'll tell you what, like there are those, not that they totally completely took over the second period, but I thought they really carried it in the second. Like that was a really strong period, I think by the Florida Panthers. Bennett is playing, with the confidence. I'll be honest with you, Jason. Sam Bennett is playing with the confidence of the guy that's thinking he's getting $10 million on July 1st.
Well.
That's how Sam Bennett is gauged right now. I don't think the Florida changes at all. Like this is their game, and they're experienced enough to know that okay, so we're not gonna sweep. So we lost one game. It's in Edmonton. We're not in trouble. So we lose at home. I think Florida comes right back and plays the exact same game. One of the problems is here, and Knobloch, very efficiently, at times put McDavid and Draisaitl together.
Yeah.
As that's traditionally been the in case of emergency break glass move. If you're Paul Maurice, again, you're faced with the question: who are you putting Barkov out again? Like, pick your poison here. Like, what do you want? Like, do you want Connor? Do you want Leon? Like, okay, well, the other guy's going to damage you. Again, one game, I don't expect Barkov to be that quiet. Reinhart did have that one great chance where he, bouncing the puck on his stick, curbside to Stuart Skinner. But I don't expect those guys to be quiet 2 games in a row. So someone's gonna Sasha Barkov is he's too good a player to have 2 games like that. So I fully expect him to be back next game.
Jeff, anything standing out at the draft combine?
Well, I'll tell you. Want to hear a funny story? How would you answer this question?
Okay.
So, by the way, a lot of people that I've talked to since I got here last night are wondering about the structure of this event. I talked to 3 people just this morning and said, we're doing it all wrong here. We have the combine at the end of the week. Saturday, the guys are all going to be put through their paces and get your barf cans ready. He said their kids are here all week. They're running from interview to interview to interview to interview. Meanwhile, in the back of their mind, they have this like torture test that's coming up on Saturday. Plus, every night, especially the top guys, they're all getting taken out to dinner. I think they're all going out for like steak dinners and lobster and Italian. Like they're all going out. And then, what are they going to be like come Saturday? And a lot of people now are saying, So why don't we do the combine part first?
Well, of course.
When the guys are the freshest, and then go and do all the socializing and doing all the meeting and all that. So I'm curious how you answer this one. So one team is doing, and I shouldn't say with all the players they interview, but at least a few. One team that I was told today is holding up a picture, and in the picture there's a male who's sitting on a chair in the middle of a wide open field. And the question to the prospect is, tell us the story in your mind of how this person got there. What would you do with that, Jason?
Oh, yeah.
I first of all, I want to applaud teams for being concerned about the mental health of the athletes, that maybe there's something in these answers that can tell you if there's something, if there are issues. I don't know. Like, I don't do that for a living. I'd be fraudulent if I could tell you. I would understand what answers represent. But so I do applaud that they are concerned about the mental health of their athletes that they might be drafting here. But I don't know what I would do with that, Jason. Here's a guy sitting on a chair in a field.
Yeah.
Give me the story of how he got there.
Well, you know what? At that point, I would think of, okay, what's an essay I wrote in school?
Oh yeah, I know, right?
And I would basically kind of think of that essay and tie it into that. That's what I would do.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, listen, it's going to be an interesting draft. I think we all expect Matthew Schaefer, the defenseman from Erie, who didn't even come close to playing a full season, injured at the World Juniors for Team Canada. We all expect him to go first overall. I know every year we wonder about trades and teams trading up and teams trading down. You know, there's a number of wild cards here. You know, Utah has, what is it, Jason, like 4 first-rounders that haven't cracked the lineup yet. Like, they're still loaded with prospects, that team. So we wonder if Arizona, even if it's just to move down a couple of spots, because like they were one of the big winners, obviously, on lottery day. So I think that, again, as much as we talk about there being movement and teams trading picks and all that, generally teams go up and make their picks.
Mm-hmm.
But when everyone's draft list is as wildly different as everybody else's, I do wonder if we see not necessarily teams trading their picks as much as moving position. That seems to be the conversation.
Yeah. Jeff, great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. We'll chat with you next week.
Bud.
Enjoy the games.
Thanks, Jason. Be good, pal.
It's Jeff Merrick from The Sheet on Daily Faceoff. We'll return. Colin Livingston joins us next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
Get ready to revolutionize your job site with Edmonton Kubota's game-changing compact construction equipment. From mini excavators and skid steers to track loaders, carriers, and utility vehicles, they have a model to fit every need, all powered by legendary Kubota diesel engines. These machines are built for performance and reliability. Transform your work with Edmonton Kubota's top-of-the-line compact equipment. Visit them today and see why they're the name you can trust for power and precision.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
This is a slam dunk. Dive into Edmonton's vibrant basketball scene with exclusive interviews and expert analysis. I'm Paul Sir, and I host The Basketball Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference.
Yes.
fittedgolf.ca.
You have a choice, and it's a hard one. GMC employee pricing or 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick. A hard choice, but also super awesome. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra lineup, from the Sierra half-ton to the heavy duties. If you have cash, get discounts over $12,000 on many of our Sierras, along with GMC pricing. Or choose 0% financing on our Sierra half-ton lineup. And what a great selection of GMC terrains and fabulous Buick SUVs to pick from. So many choices. But one thing's for sure, you are getting the best deal at Wolf GMC Buick.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles. Culligan.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.352. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley on a busy Thursday. Oilers did not skate today. I did not see the Panthers on the ice as well. It's Stanley Cup Finals. Not a lot of skating in between game days. No injury notes, no updates for the Oilers. They are fine. Everybody made it through the game. No problem, according to head coach Chris Knobloch. We'll see about the Panthers if they make any tweaks to their lineup potentially tomorrow or not. But they're not a must-win game when you're down 0-1, but obviously they would love nothing more than to get a win. Meanwhile, the Edmonton Oilers, this is where you've got to bow down, man. This is where you want to crush them and get a lead if you can. Now, let's get to the Racing Report, brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Well, simple. Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but they're made right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada. Cantork.com. It's Colin Livingston from Cantork joins us to talk a little racing. And hey, the Oilers have found their groove in the playoffs. McLaren in racing, Colin, starting to become rather a dominant force in F1 this year.
At least in F1, yeah, they're doing okay in IndyCar, but that Alex Palou guy, sorry, my brain just went to mush. Oscar Piastri. He seems to have the whole thing figured out, and obviously his sidekick Lando Norris is doing great as well with a bunch of seconds, winning poles. They've got it figured out, and now they're starting to run away. But it also doesn't help, or it does help them that Verstappen is making a mess of things.
Well, he seems like he's getting frustrated. What is he, 1 point away? So for non-diehard race fans, even myself, I'm kind of, so once you get 12 penalty points, like you're basically like you get a suspension in hockey, you're out for a race.
Yeah, automatic.
And he's at 11.
Correct.
So what would be a one, like what could qualify to get 1 point?
It's always at the steward's discretion, but he could come into pit road a little bit too hot. Now that's a speeding penalty, but if they deem it as intentional, or, he kind of slides out of control, they could throw a penalty point on. Usually it results from a driver blatantly disregarding what the race director's instructions are. So if they say, when you leave the track, you have to go through these bollards to get back. If they deliberately do that or do something against the wishes, they can do that. Generally, it's accidents, it's causing a collision, it's things of a dangerous nature. So, Max has never really been good at throttling back. And he's always said, when asked after a situation like this, is this going to change the way you race? And he says, no. He's already said last week that he expects he's going to get a one-race suspension at some point in the year.
Well, it was an interesting race for Max Verstappen. Like it looked like he purposely crashed into George Russell, right? I think you had it when the caution, when they pitted and he came out, and I think that's probably when he knew he was in trouble. He had hard tires, everybody else had softs, and he asked her like, well, that was the only option we had.
Yeah.
Right. So why couldn't they go? I wasn't even watching. He had soft earlier, but why couldn't he put mediums? Why was that the only option?
They went through their allotment through qualifying, and they just didn't have anything left for the race. There was a whole sequence of events that happened. I mean, everyone kind of thinks that it was one thing, but really when that caution came out for Antonelli, whose engine blew up. The first thing that they did, he asked for new tires. They said, okay. He put the tires on, and I can't repeat exactly what he said on the radio, but he's like, what is this? They're like, that's the hard. He's like, why did we put on the hard? Because it's all we had. Okay, so that takes, and Max runs at about 8 on the temper scale on a good day.
Yeah.
So now he's getting excited. They're coming on, they're following.
Excited.
They're under the safety car. Well, he knows at that point he's going to lose positions.
Yes.
There's no way to defend. No matter how good you are, no matter how good your car is, your tires are not going to keep up with the softs or even the mediums that other guys put on. So he knows that he's in trouble. Then just as the safety car leaves the track, Oscar Piastri started to slow down. You could say slow down suddenly, but he's the control car. He's allowed to do basically whatever he wants. Max was either playing with the steering wheel or just wasn't paying attention. He almost drove into the back of Norris. So he's already agitated. Now he's really, let's just say he's up to a 9.5 at this point. They get the green flag. Piastri takes off. Norris takes off. He knows that Leclerc is right behind him. He goes to hit the throttle, breaks the tires loose, just about lost it. He had a good 30-degree oversteer moment. Leclerc got the run, pulls up beside him. Once he was beside, he drifted into Max. This was not a case of Max doing anything wrong. This was Leclerc got a little bit too aggressive. He makes contact with Max. Max is now at a full 10, maybe a 10.5 on the temper scale. Leclerc gets by. As they're side by side, Russell gets a run. Russell gets a little bit too aggressive in the corner. He got up beside Max, but he wasn't able to hold it. Drove into Max. Again, not Max, but now Max is like a 12, maybe a 13 on the temper scale out of 10. 2 corners later, the team says to him, Max, you have to give the spot back, because earlier in the year, he was in a similar situation. They didn't give the spot back and they got penalized, which hurt their result. So now he's like, and I'm speaking on behalf of what I saw. I don't know how, Max was maybe laughing in his helmet for all I know. I have no idea, but his actions definitely say he was throwing some steam, and as the term was used on the broadcast, a red mist, and that's been used an awful lot. They convince him that he needs to pull over as Max slows down and pulls over to give Russell the position. Russell gets up beside him. Max hits the throttle, drives straight into him in the middle of a corner. And for that, I still think he got off easy, but he got a 10-second penalty, which dropped him at that point from 4th down to 10th. But he got the 3 extra points on his super license, which my personal opinion.
I love that they call it the super license. It's kind of like demerits for a race car.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's 100. Yeah.
But they call it the super license.
Yep.
That's what I'm going to say. Any of you out there, hey, guess what? I got 10 super license points. How many demerit? No. I got a speeding ticket. It's 10 super license.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. It just sounds way better.
It's like golf. Shooting 105, you got to make 105 swings, but you really want to make 75. Mm-hmm. Lower is better. But once he made that, his day was over. It really hurt the team because the second car being driven by Sonoda right now is not doing anything. No. He hasn't scored points in a long time. It's just not going well. But that also made me start thinking, Max is a super, super, super calculating driver. He knows everything that's going on. While he can feign ignorance, he's very aware. And there's a rumor that if he's not in the top 4 in points by the end of June,
I saw that.
The next 2 races, he can execute an exit clause from Red Bull, which would basically turn him into a free agent for 2026. Is he that calculating? Does he? If he wants to get out, don't be surprised if we get into Montreal next weekend and he just does some kind of aggressive maneuver to trigger the suspension.
Yeah.
If he really wants that. I mean, if the professionalism comes back, then maybe he sticks it out and he rides out his contract the next couple of years. But it just seems like he's not so happy right now.
Quickly to the Canadian Lance Stroll. Withdrew from the race. Wasn't in it. There was different rumblings that maybe he was upset or something hurt his hand and like a temper tantrum thing. They said that there was complications from a biking accident 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, how could there be complications from a biking accident 2 years ago suddenly that just reemerged? That seems like my God, if you're going to come up with an excuse, come up with something better than that. But is his time limited? Is this his last year?
If he decides to leave, then yes. When your dad signs the checks in the team and has done so and has, dragged you along throughout your entire career, there's no threat that the team is going to remove him. The only thing that might change next year is when Honda moves over to Aston Martin as their engine supplier. They are going to have some influence on who stays and who goes. But right now, I think most people would agree that Fernando Alonso is the driver that you would want in your car over Lance.
Oh yeah.
But Lawrence still has he still has the checkbook and the big pen. So if he wants the kid to keep going, the kid will keep going.
Quickly, IndyCar, there was like a parking lot, man, on the penning lap when the car spun on the penning lap. That was kind of wild.
Yeah. They were in Detroit last weekend. A couple of years ago, they moved from what was called Belle Isle. So, public park in Detroit. The citizens of Detroit didn't like giving up the park for the week that it takes to kind of put things up and take things down. And it's, likely a little bit longer than that with grandstands. They moved the race to downtown. Not a great facility, very, very bumpy, very tight. The Indy Next race where they were, they're obviously smaller, lower powered cars, but on the opening lap, guy lost control and it just turned into a parking lot where there were like 12 cars kind of wedged together until they could get them separated. But towards the end of the IndyCar race, really, really, really scary situation where again, I was up almost half the night last night working on an overseas shipment, so my brain's kind of dead. I think it was Louis Foster had his suspension just fail at the end of the long straightaway. So they're getting ready to go into the braking zone. His right front suspension failed, likely from how bumpy the track is, and ended up collecting Rosenquist. Very, very scary. Where that kind of thing can happen, I think the series has to take a look at the viability and either smooth out these bumps so these guys aren't, potentially killing themselves for a race, or they just have to look at reconfiguring or look at another venue.
Awesome, man. Karting start this weekend, or did it start already?
Started 2 weeks ago. I've been on the sidelines here. Unfortunately, I got a little medical thing that's keeping me out of the kart for at least one more week, but been watching. It was a good night for our CRG program last night. We took 5 of the top 6 spots in the 2 classes that we run. So yeah, I'm getting pretty itchy to get my helmet back on and get out there and play with the boys and girls.
Well, just don't be Lance Stroll and break your hand in the pit, okay?
My digits are fine.
Right,
I'm not broken. Broken maybe mentally, but physically, aside from a couple little things, I'm okay. But it'll be just one more race I have to miss, and then we'll take another analysis and go from there.
All right. We'll talk to you next Thursday in the Racing Report.
Yes, sir.
There you go. That's Colin Livingston. We got Landon Ferrara coming up. We'll also hear from Speck and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. But first, a Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Are you planning a summer road trip? Well, make your first stop Fountain Tire. From tire checks to oil changes to alignments and brake inspections, make sure your vehicle is ready for every mile ahead at fountaintire.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
Game day in our city. Edmonton Riverhawks taking on Victoria, looking to complete the sweep. First pitch, 7:05 down at Remax Field at the RBC Open. Shoreborn Olsen atop the leaderboard, along with Cristobal Del Solar, both players 9 under par. Cameron Champ currently sitting second at 8 under. As for Canadians, Taylor Pendrith 5 under, Nick Taylor 4 under par. Got NBA Finals Game 1 tonight. Thunder Pacers in Oklahoma City. That gets going at 6:30. Also tonight, CFL season kicking off with the Rough Riders hosting the Red Blacks. That gets going at 7. Of course, they also get their season going Saturday night, 8 o'clock out in Vancouver. And Major League Baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays victorious today over the Philadelphia Phillies, winning 9-1. Coming up in Hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our Sports 1440 pre- and post-game analyst and former NHLer Landon Ferraro, and we'll ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles,
Declan
better
Cougar running
service.
things at Orders
Only
Nation.
at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Legend has foretold of a smoothie so delicious and refreshing that it could quench the thirst of a fire-breathing dragon.
But it's also a great pick-me-up after a workout. The new Dragon Slaya smoothie from Booster Juice, a legendary blend of dragon fruit and mangoes, destined to be your next obsession. Try it today along with the new Dragon Booster Ball and the Pink Dragon Booster Mixer.
3 epic menu items to conquer your cravings. Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
At Fountain Tire, we're all about one thing, taking care of your vehicle. Oh, and your wallet. I guess that's 2 things. Save up to 20% off select tires until June 14th. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
It's been a long 35 years since we last hoisted the cup. Sports 1440 has the finals covered with Curious, Low Tide, Gregor. And be sure to check out the pre- and post-game shows with Andrew Walker. Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that
There you
fly
go,
off
that's,
the plate faster than a slap
Yes, sir.
shot. And Molson Canadians for $5.25. OTR's TVs, hey, they're so clear you'll see the puck better than the ref. That ain't hard, is it? And every game night during Edmonton's playoff run, specials start 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocks.yeg.com.
Are you tossing and turning at night, unable to sleep because of mounting debt? Debt can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to face it alone. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to guide you every step of the way so you can find peace of mind and finally rest easy. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book a free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
A fire ban is now in place for northern and central parts of Alberta where wildfire danger is extreme. Because of hot, windy conditions, wood-burning fires are not permitted on public or private land. For more information about bans or restrictions in your area, visit albertafirebans.ca. To report wildfires in the forest protection area, call 310-FIRE. That's 310-FIRE. A message from the Government of Alberta.
McDonald's sundaes and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions and project service tag and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net.
Hat-tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely Thursday. It should be a good day. You're excited tomorrow. Game 2, Oilers and the Florida Panthers. An opportunity for the Oilers to take a pretty convincing lead, 2-0 in the Stanley Cup Final if they can get a win. And teams who win game one are 52-10 on home ice in the Stanley Cup Final. And before this interview's over, I will find out what the record is for teams who start 2-0 on home ice. Something tells me it's going to be pretty good. Pretty good in that regard. So we'll see. Anyway, let's get to In the Room, brought to you by Action Electrical, the most versatile electrical contractor in Alberta, with projects which design, build, switchgear replacements, new construction, renovations. I got service tea and more at actionelectrical.net. Pre and post game, regular contributor, former NHLer Landon Ferraro joins us. And Landon, it was definitely a different style than we've seen. Lots more aggressive, lots more dumping and chasing. Heck, there's lots more icings. There was 21 icings in the game last night. Chris Knobloch said, hey, it's not ideal. You'd like to do it. So what do you see from the Oilers? As good as they played, what would you like to see better from them to get cleaner exits out of the zone?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with getting back a little bit quicker. I think that, like obviously Florida comes extremely hard. That's not news to anyone. Like is the absolute staple of their game. But the way you have to beat that is being able to spread out in the defensive zone. And, the Oilers do such a good job of spreading into the neutral zone. But in order to do that, like you have to get the puck back first and get back to it a bit quicker. The other side is trying to hold up the Florida players, the forecheckers coming through the neutral zone. If you can buy your D that extra half second, instead of that puck coming to you fluttering or it has to go off the glass because they just don't have time, like now that's a direct pass. And once the puck moves from the D for the Oilers and it gets to that first forward, it seems like everything moves extremely fast from there. Like they're not the fastest skating team, but they play so well connected that's how they move up, extremely fast getting up the ice. But you have to buy that extra half second for your defenseman to be able to make the first play.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Like I looked at last night, like Florida, they have a very set play. They love to come in and they ring it around. So they'll dump it in down. So it comes in the right side. So now it comes up the left boards, which is the right defenseman. And he's now coming back. But when he turns, he's got to pick up the puck on his backhand all the time. That's how they have to hold that ring. And even though they're NHL players, you see a lot of guys not getting it off completely perfect off of that. Is there anything, like obviously Skinner's out there, he's trying to knock him down, but what could the Oilers do so they're not on their backhand as much? Is there just nothing you can do? Do you need someone else maybe? Can they slow up a guy on the forecheck? Because Florida does it very well. They dump it and it's positioned perfectly to try to get the guy on his backhand.
Yeah, I mean, it is really hard, right? Like it's already coming around at a good pace. So like that makes it tough already, but there's so much spin. Like on the ones where you really see guys bobble it, there's so much spin coming on that puck that as soon as it touches, it just rips to the middle on you. And it's hard to control. But, like one way to combat it a bit is letting that forechecker getting close and just taking the first guy just worries about the forechecker. And you protect the puck and you just kind of let it go by you, almost like on a power play break-in where that first guy goes in and he just gets body and he knows his second guy is coming in. Like if the D and forward or the D and D as partner are working together, like if you can get the first Florida guy on your backside and be able to protect that a little bit, well, now you've opened up for the next guy to have a bit more time with it. Because other than that, really one of the only things that you can do is hard smack it back around, because that'll take a bit of the spin off and it also buys your next guy a bit of time, because it is such a hard play. Like it's such a simple play, but it's hard to combat it simply because you have to, like there's, your first thing you have to do is get it off the wall, and that's not the easiest thing. So again, like just trying to buy a little bit of time for your partner so that he can make the cleaner play on it might be the solution to that.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. As Landon Ferraro joins us. Landon Kasperi-Kapanen had another unreal game, and he mentioned it, man, when I came to Edmonton, I kind of thought, hey, maybe this is like last chance saloon for me. And this guy, like I said it before, when I watch practice, I would see McDavid and Draisaitl. But anybody who didn't know players, I'm watching Kasperi-Kapanen. He can fly and he's got an unreal shot. And you see all these things in practice. And now you're really starting to see it in a game. Like, he was unreal again last night for Edmonton.
He was really good. And even when he first got to Edmonton, like, he had those first couple games that he looked amazing in. And that is what Kapanen does really well, is he can come into a lineup and he's a buzzsaw out there. He works incredibly hard. Like, his work rate is through the roof when he's on the ice. For him, a lot of the issue of through his career and changing teams is to do with consistency, being able to be at that level and be effective for a longer stretch of time. It's a bit of, he comes in, he can give you 3 or 4 games of really good. And then, with guys like that, I live in Vancouver. I see Niels Höglander a lot. It's kind of the same thing where they work so hard and they want to do the right thing so often that they almost get themselves into trouble sometimes by kind of just doing too much and just running around almost like there's no game plan. But when he comes in and he gets a bit dialed back in and he has that opportunity, like, you can see what he can do if he can find a way to be a bit more consistent with it. Like, that's a very solid player. He's able to get on the body because he skates extremely well. He's not shy to make contact and take it, but he also adds a couple assists. Like, he can play the game. It's all right there. It's just trying to tie it together and do it over a long haul. But for the immediate future of the Oilers, like, if he can keep this up for even just a few more games of the series, like, it's just another added piece that this Oiler team didn't have during the regular season while so many guys weren't really playing to their potential. It gets to playoffs and all of a sudden they're one of the deepest teams to go through.
Oh, well, hey, you look at it right now, and that's why I argued before the series. I wrote it all down. The Oilers' depth, especially on defense, I thought the third pair was infinitely better, and I think we saw that last night as, Wallman and Klingberg both played 23-plus minutes, whereas Florida's guys played 17 and 18. Wallman was a force on the ice. And the Oilers' fourth line might have been their best line. Maybe not might have. I think it was their best line in overtime. And Arvidsson, Janmark, and Podkolzin. Obviously, they scored the big goal, Arvidsson. Now, it's one that I think Bobrovsky would probably like back on a night where he made a lot of big saves. But the Oilers' depth is better. And how much do you think, if this actually ends up being a long series, does the wear and tear actually matter?
Well, I think it matters immensely. Like, one game you can handle, your top 4D playing all over, I think it was all over 31 minutes. Like, you can do that for one game, but to be sitting there with two of them, like you just said, one at 17, one at 18 minutes, like, that's asking those 4 guys to carry a lot of those minutes. And even up front, like the Oilers' fourth line, I think the lowest they played was just over 13 and a half minutes. Like, that's solid minutes. But on the flip side, in Florida, like, they're down Gadjevich and Boquist, like, they're at 6 and 8 minutes. Like, and the Oilers ran into a bit of that last year, and you could see, even though they came on at the end of the series, to try and cover all those minutes and not use 4 lines and 6 defensemen, like you see basically every cup winning team do. Like, you have to be able to play all of your players and not just have them play and be net zero to where, we didn't get scored on, so he gave us a chance tonight. Like, they need to contribute. And I think as the series goes on, like, Edmonton has shown that, they are deeper, but not only that, like, it was really I think the biggest thing I was surprised with in game 1, the 2, was how physical Edmonton was. And it didn't look, they weren't being physical trying to prove a point. They were playing within their system and it worked very well. But the other side of it, or the other point, was like just watching Florida trying to skate and keep up to Edmonton. Like, I wasn't ready for that, of how much faster Edmonton appeared throughout the game. But again, they're able to use everyone on their bench.
Landon Ferraro joined us. And, well, that's what you need to do. That's why I've always argued that, as I don't put cups in the conversation for great players, because great teams win. As good as McDavid and Draisaitl have been in the playoffs, and they've been unreal. Jake Wallman, Kasperi Kapanen, Arvidsson, go down the list of guys who have contributed and scored big goals. Stuart Skinner. We haven't even talked about Stuart Skinner yet, Landon, but last night I thought Stuart Skinner in the second period was really the difference. The Oilers were able to stay in that game.
I mean, Florida threw everything at them that period. And even especially with how, the first goal goes in, they challenge, they lose the challenge, Marchand scores right away. Like, that's a point where you are a bit worried of how is he going to react to that and carry on through the rest of the game. And much like you, like I was really impressed with how he handled himself. He looked really dialed in, even when things bounced off him. It looked like he knew that was going to happen, and he was moving fast and direct to the next spot to get that rebound. Like there was controlled, what's the best way to say, like controlled desperation was what I felt throughout the year he lacked at different points. But once he's got back in the net in playoffs here, and especially last night, like it to me, that's what it looks like. He's so confident on first shots, but even when things start to go bad, like he has that fight in him where there's a clear plan, and it doesn't look like desperation of a goalie just flapping around. And when you see that as a player, like it makes you feel that much better that you can make a play, like, and if it doesn't work out, that guy behind me he's dialed in right now and he's going to make a save. Like it enables you to get your skill out a bit more.
Yeah, well, I look at the Oilers and, their defense. Matthias Ekholm, his second game, he plays 25 minutes, scores a goal. Solid. He's on the ice again. Hasn't been on in two. I know it's a short, small sample, but in 2 games, hasn't been on the ice for a 5-on-5 goal against. How much better can you quantify, do you think, the return of Ekholm? And is that just maybe the final piece? Like, as much as it was hard to lose Hyman, is it almost like if you do a trade, Hyman for Ekholm, you might argue because Ekholm plays more minutes, he might actually be, that you actually are better in a way. Like if you were just going 1 for 1, you might say Ekholm's better. And
like that is a way to look at it. And to be honest, like that kind of has to be the way to look at it. He's on the ice so much, and he's at 25 right away. But just the way that he carries himself when he's on the ice, the plays, like, he's a solid defenseman. He's going to make plays. He's going to chip in a goal once in a while. He's shown like that, that's not coming out of nowhere. But the way that he can do it with that, I mean, I have a hard time describing it other than, even though he's the same age, like he has that like old man look and demeanor to him. Like there's no messing around with him on the ice. It's everything is serious, and he does everything hard and to the best of his ability. Like to have another and a bigger stature guy come back into the lineup, like again, that opens up Bouchard to feel a little safer to go make an extra play if he can. Not taking unnecessary risks, but he knows what his partner can do and cover up on the backside. Like, the more defensemen that you can bring in, like to your point of saying with Hyman, like defensemen can clean up so much mess. But not only that, with how the Oilers are built, like they need guys that can take a hit and make a 4-foot pass while that's happening and be able to do it over and over again. Because for them, like much like every team, but especially when you have a McDavid and a Draisaitl, you need the puck getting out of your D's hands to the forwards, and it needs to be on the tape and flat, regardless if it's a 30-foot pass or a 5. And he doesn't miss his mark often.
Yeah, no, that's totally valid. So we move ahead now to game 2. And, the Oilers, hey, they've been here. They all know the series isn't over just because you win one game. But winning that game was massive for them. And if you like, what changes do you make if you're the Oilers in game 2?
Well, I mean, I think you definitely want to clean up really all over the ice. Like there wasn't bad areas, but there's areas where they could definitely be a bit sharper. Definitely not starting with 3 penalties, having to kill in the first. And Corey Perry got unlucky, especially with the trip. Like his stick just gets in a bad spot and he rips him down, and there's no arguing. It is what it is. But if they can clean that up a little bit more, because at 5-on-5, much like the series, the couple series in the past here for them on this run, Oilers control so much of the game at 5-on-5 because they can play all 4 lines. All 4 lines can move around, and not only that, Knobloch always has guys shifting up and down the lineup. So like for when you're the other team, like you're constantly having to figure out who's on that line, who's going to be on it the next time. Like there's so much more that goes into it than just trying to match up our first against their first, because they move guys around so much. But I think, like you brought up at the very beginning, the D zone, trying to get a little bit cleaner and crisper so that you can move out faster, because the only way that the skill of Florida really comes out is if their forecheck gets to work and they cause turnovers. They're so good at that quick hit offense. But if you take that out, you're forcing them to really play off the rush, find zone time, and create out of that, because those quick hits just aren't there. I think if you do that, you're going to be putting yourself in a really good spot for game 2 already.
Landon, we look forward to it. We'll be tuning in for pre and post tomorrow on the station. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
That's Landon Ferraro from Sports 1440 pre and post game show. We'll come back. We've got more on the Edmonton Oilers. We'll hear from Evander Kane, Victor Arvidsson as well. Might even hear from Paul Maurice, the head coach of the Florida Panthers. What changes does he make? What does he want? Now, you know what? I don't think he's going to be that distraught. It wasn't like the Oilers dominated the game, but they had stretches where the Oilers were clearly the better team. And I think they had longer stretches in the game where Edmonton was the better team. Florida was without question the better team in the second period and the first 5 minutes of overtime. But third period was all Oilers. The last 50 minutes of overtime was the Oilers. And majority of the first period was the Oilers. So they'll like it. What changes does Florida look to make? We'll find out next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Alberta, the all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
The big one is here at The Brick. Big deals and even bigger savings. Score up to 25% off sofas, sectionals, and recliners. Up to 25% off TV stands, wall units, and fireplaces. Save 50% on beds when you buy 3 matching bedroom pieces. Plus, save the tax when you buy 3 major kitchen appliances. Finally, start sleeping better when you save up to 50% off select mattresses. These big deals won't last long. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Want sports talk on the go?
You can listen to 1440 on the AM dial or stream us on your mobile device through apps like Radio Player, iHeart, and Stingray Music.
Edmonton sports fans,
turn to Sports 1440.
1440.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Work hard, get dirty, build better communities. If that sounds like a good day's work to you, GS Construction wants you to be part of their team. Right now, GS Construction is looking to hire experienced top men and pipe layers for underground sewer and water work. So if you know your way around a trench, take pride in doing the job right, and want to be part of a crew that has your back, let's get to work together. Apply now at gsconstruction.ca.
Struggling to make ends meet? You're not alone. Many people are facing tough times and finding it hard to afford the essentials. I'm hearing from people experiencing this every day. My name is Parveen Middleton. As a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO in Edmonton, I'm here to help you take control of your finances with a solution made just for you. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Kickstands up for a vital cause. The Edmonton Motorcycle Ride for Dad. Hi, it's Todd James, honorary ride captain. Now's the time to register for our big ride on Saturday, June 14th, starting at Blackjack's Roadhouse in Nisku. We're raising funds and awareness in support of the Prostate Cancer Fight Foundation. Show your support by riding, donating, or volunteering. Advance registration just $40, 50 day of, and free with $100 in collected pledges. Details on the Ride for Dad Edmonton Facebook page.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers Score and Win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers Hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave in 118th.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Have you tried their all-new app? Download it now. You get boosted odds for every Oiler game. You got casino games, lottery tickets, instants, and more. And use the promo code Gregor50, and you'll get a free $50 play when you register. It's a new month, so you get a new one if you already used yours in May. It's Gregor50. Not like Hawaii, just Gregor, 50. Some of you might get that. Some of you are like, what the hell are you talking about? If you know, you know. If not, it's hard to explain. It's a TV show. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, do you think Knobloch is a top 3 coach in the NHL right now? I thought he outcoached Maurice last night from Bad Niv. Well, I'd be curious how he outcoached him. I'd just be curious on what you think he did. I don't know if there was like some massive strategical difference that he made. I think Knobloch right now has a deeper bench, and he's smart enough to use it. And so, because there's lots of coaches that don't always use it. So to me, just because you have good players doesn't automatically mean you're going to use them to the best of their ability. I think Knobloch's biggest strength is he believes in the importance of making everybody feel part of the team. Would I put him as a top 3 coach? Like, obviously, Maurice and John Cooper's resumes are going to be up there. Bruce Cassidy, right? I think Knobloch, well, a few things. Number one, he's he might be, I got to look at, is he top 10 active coach already? God, he might be close. He's actually 11th. I just looked it up. He's 11th longest tenured coach in the NHL. Oh, that is wild, right? Like that. Think about it. He hasn't even been on the job 2 full years, and he's 11th longest. So John Cooper, like Rod Brindamore is a good coach. Jared Bednar, Bruce Cassidy, Paul Maurice. I've really liked Spencer Carberry in Washington, but yeah, I think Chris Knobloch has definitely moved himself up into the top 10 of coaches in today's game. Like Jim Montgomery, to me, unbelievable coach, like phenomenal. So I'd have him. Joel Quenneville's back in. Where's he going to be? But it is like, look at the new coaches that will start next season. Right? There's 8. Hey, Greg's, now that the coaching carousel is complete, are you surprised Jay Woodcroft isn't one of them? And are you disappointed Todd Nelson isn't? Well, I've said it for a long time. I think Todd Nelson should get a look. Like, I'd be curious, what did Dan Muse do? So this guy, he came in as an assistant coach. He's been assistant coach in the NHL for a few years. And then he ran the U17 program and the U18 program as a head coach. Okay, great. But he had 1.5 years of coaching in the USHL. So I'm just kind of like, I'm curious what his resume suggests that this guy is a better coach than Todd Nelson. Like, honestly, I don't get it. Like, if you're just looking off of resumes, what is it? It can't just be that Todd Nelson is, quote, a bad interview. Like, what? What does that even mean? Right? Like, when I hear someone say, oh, it was a bad interview. Well, what does that even mean? What? You didn't like his shirt? Who cares? I'm like, is he a good coach? What's his track record say? I don't know. interview him in a different way. Like I just, when someone says they're a bad interview, what does that even mean? Does he and ah too much? I'd like to talk to Todd about it. And I might have to, actually, because yeah, I'm not stunned though that Jay Woodcroft doesn't have a job. You know, if you look at it, Mike Sullivan, Joe Quenneville, Rick Tocchet, they were all going to get hired ahead of him. I think you could look and say, well, what did Dan Muse do? That's different. Marco Sturm has been somebody that's been trending. We've heard his name for a while to get a look. I'll say this about Jay Woodcroft. I think he's a pretty smart coach. He did an interview on Frankly Speaking with Frank Saravalli, and I listened to the whole thing, and I'd recommend you go check it out. But it didn't get this, like, sometimes I just didn't get the sense that he was like, there was never, okay, what did you learn and what would you do different from your time in Edmonton? Because there's always something you can do different. And just because you do it different doesn't mean that you did it wrong the first time. That was your first experience as a head coach. And you learn different things. Nobody does everything right the first time. Heck, most of us don't do everything right the second or third time. Ask a parent out there. How's that going? Right? It's not that easy. You're not going to make every right decision as a head coach. But I think it's good to say, okay, these are the ones where this is what I would do different. Right? Like, I thought at times he focused and tried to control things that didn't matter. Like running lines in warm-up that weren't going to be used in the game. I never understood why you do that. Ever. Like, what are you getting out of that? You're annoying your own players, right? Yep, McDavid's going to run in warm-up tomorrow with Podkolzin and Arvidsson, but then he's going to play in the game with Nugent Hopkins and Perry. Why would you do that? I didn't understand. Right? Like a small little thing. So I would assume he'll eventually get a job again, but he'll have to, at some point, I think he'd have to admit that there were things that he learned from that he would do better. That was it. So I wasn't shocked, to be honest, to answer your question. No, I wasn't shocked that he didn't get a job. I think eventually he should get another opportunity as an NHL head coach. Right? He's shown that, he understands the game. He's a pretty good communicator. But there's other guys. To me, Todd Nelson, I still don't understand why. I don't understand why. So, guys, there got to be something about knowing the right people. Well, that's for sure. But that's in every walk of life. Like, it's the old adage, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And so that does matter. Right? But Jay Woodcroft, like, he's got to have a pretty good Rolodex being in the NHL in that many different organizations, Detroit and San Jose and Edmonton. Right? He's been in the league for he's been out now for a few years, but he's in the league for good 18, 19 years. Right? And I thought he went the right path of going back to the American League to be a head coach because he wanted to be a head coach. I think that was the best decision he made. Now, let's get to a few more clips from the Edmonton Oilers, and we'll hear from. First of all, we'll hear from Evander Kane on. So, as a winger, Florida really presses down their defensemen. We saw it a lot last night. So, what can the wingers do different to limit that or get pucks out better off the wall when the D's pressuring down?
Yeah, I think obviously our team, they kind of just marked their men in zone. So that was a bit of an adjustment. Have not played for a week. I think that probably played a little bit of a role as well. I think, we're going to make some adjustments, obviously, to counteract that in the next game and try to break out a little cleaner.
Yeah. I like what I said there, small adjustments. And what is the one trend that we've seen from the Oilers, especially under Chris Knobloch, and this is a credit to his coaching, the longer the series goes, historically, the Oilers have gotten better. And, like the numbers don't lie. What are they, 18-2 now in games 4-7? And they've gotten better, right? Like this year and even last year, they've started to win game one of a series more often. Like they won the game one against Vegas, won game one last night. And really, I thought they played really well in game one in Dallas, except for a 6-minute stretch on the penalty kill. They took 3 consecutive penalties and they couldn't kill one off, and that cost them the game. But 5-on-5, I thought they played really well that game against Dallas. So I think they've realized that you can't necessarily kind of feel your way into a series, you're still going to make adjustments. And that's the one thing the Oilers have proven they've been very good at. And that starts with the coach. But then you have your players who have to implement the changes in real time. Right? Because you can be the best. You can come up with the most unbelievable system. This is what we want to do. This is how we're going to beat it. But if the players don't execute it, there's not much you can do as a coach. So you need to be able to explain it so your players understand it, and then have the players who are good enough to execute it. Eight 401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greggs, what did you think of Paul Coffey switching up the D pairs at times? He had Klingberg with Ekholm and Wallman and Bouchard for a few shifts in the second period. Well, Paul Coffey does that. I think Paul Coffey deserves a lot of credit. And Chris Knobloch says he lets Coffey pretty much run the blue line in the game. The head coach doesn't have much say in that. Like, they'll talk beforehand, but then when the game's on, he leaves it up to him. And a lot of coaches do that. You've got to trust your assistants. And I noticed in the second period there, things weren't going well, so he switched it up and tried a few different things. Now, he went back to the pairs, but Coffey's, I think he has a good sense of his team on when he likes to alter up and switch things up. And they've done it all season, right? Like Jake Wallman is non-block outline. He's played with everybody, and he plays left side. He'll play right side. He's pretty versatile, and he's pretty mobile, and that helps him. So I kind of like it when the coach is, if something isn't going well, you switch it up, and I think this team reacts because the players are comfortable playing with different guys. It just, to me, that's pretty obvious. Ask Darnell Nurse about Florida, because Florida has very smart dumps in the sense you watch, sometimes they'll dump it into a corner, but then lots of times they love to ring it. So they'll whip it. They're coming in on the left side. They rip it all around knowing, and the other winger, he's going hard. So that means now the left defender has to go back. And a lot of times he's on his backhand. And not every defenseman, it's harder. Landon Ferraro was talking about the spin that comes off the puck. So as that puck's spinning off the boards, you go practice it in practice and see how hard it is. Because as you put your blade up against the boards on your backhand and the puck is spinning, a lot of times it's going to hit your blade and come right off. Like, it ain't that easy. And so ask Nurse about, is there a way to counter it? And what can you do, to limit the chances or limit the times you have to spend on your backhand?
Yeah, it's, we expect it. Obviously, on the backhand's not ideal, but kind of trying to prepare for that, kind of know what's coming, know their forecheck's coming hard. And yeah, I think for the most part, we did a pretty good job, but trying to find a way to kind of counter that maybe. And they're so aggressive, maybe trying to sneak past it a little bit. Yeah, but we'll make adjustments and figure out a better way to beat it.
No, that was obviously Jake Wallman, not Darnell Nurse, but the question was correct. We just had I had the wrong, forgot who asked the question too. But yeah, that's Jake Wallman talking about getting back. Wallman had himself a pretty solid game for the Oilers last night. We'll come back. We got 5 questions, and Speck will join us. We'll hear more on the Oilers. Also, the Elks getting set to start their season in BC. Snoop Dogg is playing beforehand. And the only thing that they asked, now, I don't know what the head coaches were trying to track down. We might get Kilmon today or tomorrow. But what's his strategy? Is he going to let his players watch any part of the pregame concert? I don't know. Every coach has a different philosophy on that. You can't just quote, mentally focus for 2 hours. It doesn't work prior to the game. So, or even an hour or so. But would he let him watch 10 or 15 minutes of it? Who knows? The one thing the Elks asked was, could Snoop Dogg's dressing room not be close to theirs? I think we can read between the lines as to why. A little bit of a secondhand smoke. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life.
baseball. Every weekend, Sports 1440 carries Toronto Blue Jays ball games. Ben Shulman will have the call. Grab a cold one and tune in this weekend to Blue Jays baseball on Sports 1440.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadians for $5.25. OTR's TVs, hey, they're so clear you'll see the puck better than the ref. That ain't hard, is it? And every game night during Edmonton's playoff run, specials start 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocks.com.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Oodle Noodle Origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Golf season is here at Wolf Creek Golf Resort. The fairways are green, the sun is shining, and it's time to tee off with friends and family. Whether you're a seasoned player or just starting out, Wolf Creek's championship courses are ready for you. Book your tee time today and experience one of Alberta's premier golf destinations. Visit golfnorth.ca/Wolf Creek for details. Wolf Creek Golf Resort. Your golf adventure starts now.
What's your vision for your community? At Vision Credit Union, ours is a thriving rural Alberta where kids have team jerseys, firefighters have the gear they need, and community kitchen fridges stay full. It's why we give back millions every year through grants, donations, sponsorships, and profit shares. Because when your community succeeds, we all do. Bank somewhere with Vision. Vision Credit Union. We see banking differently. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
Hat-tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$450. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely, lovely day. The Oilers, day off. Well, not really day off, but off the ice anyway. And then they will get set to take on Florida Panthers tomorrow night for Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final. And should be a great game. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Saving you more is what they do. Right now, 40% off bedroom furniture and up to 40% off select mattresses right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. What stood out to you the most in Game 1 of the Oilers' victory over the Panthers last night?
Question. Well, I was surprised by how much dumping and chasing the Oilers made. I don't think in an ideal world they want to do it, but They won the game. They still controlled it. And to me, that's a great sign. I don't think Edmonton, that's not going to be their best game of the playoffs. Of the Stanley Cup final. It's not. But they won. And that to me is the best. They didn't play poorly by any stretch of imagination. But the way they've played, I look at that and say, man, they came in with a win last night. And they weren't at their best. They looked a little sluggish at times. Now, Florida's probably going to play better too, but Edmonton can play better than they did, and that's a good sign for the Oilers.
Yeah, I mean, I think that stood out to me was the balance minutes played on the back end. Like Evan Bouchard played 31, but then he had 25, 23, 25, 25, 23. I think that's just a huge advantage. And something we've seen, throughout the playoffs is the Oilers' ability to roll the lines and kind of keep guys fresh. So that was a real positive for me for game number one. Now, question 2 for you. We've seen a lot of Oilers having really good stories, some guys that have been brought over mid-season. So the Oilers do have 6 UFAs on the roster. How many do you think return next season?
Go ahead.
I'm going to say Perry's back, Brown's back, and Klingberg. So I'll say 3 return, which is not good for the Trent Frederick trade, but I think he's going to explore free agency.
I think it's going to be hard to sign Klingberg. I just don't see how they have the cap space to do it. So I'm going to say I think Kapanen is back. I think Frederick is back because Connor Brown, I think, might be the one who ends up going because of what he might get on the free agent market. And I know people are like, I have a Trent Frederick. I said, you can't base everything on Trent Frederick based on the playoffs because he's not fully healthy. But I think they like the tenacity, the size, everything else. It's clear that Stan Bowman came in. Look at the players he acquired. Wallman physical, Podkolzin physical, Kapanen physical, Frederick physical. There's a trend there. So I'm going to say Frederick, Kapanen, Perry will sign. I think they want Perry back. Just, how much is he going to want? Because it sounds odd because I know he scored 19 goals, but they're not going to be able to pay him more than the 1.2 that he made last year. Or 1.4. They don't have the money. They don't have the cap space to do it.
Question number 3 for you. We're underway at the RBC Canadian Open out in Ontario. Who's your pick to win it all?
Go ahead.
I mean, I don't want to be too much of a homer, but I'm going to go with Shane Lowry, actually. He's 6 under right now, 3 strokes back of the leaderboard, but I'll go with the Irishman, Shane Lowry.
Well, I'd love to see Taylor Pendrith, right? He's the top Canadian, I think, at 5 under. I'm going to go... I'll go Danny Willette. How about that?
All right. I like it. Question number 4 for you. Game 1 of the NBA Finals. It's going tonight. Who you taking and how many games?
Come on. Thunder all way, baby. Thunder all day. And I'm going to take the Thunder in 5.
All right. Yeah, I can't go away from the OKC Thunder, but I think the Pacers are going to be pesky, and I think it's going to be closer than some people think, but I'll still take the Thunder in 6. And my final question for you today, Mark Wahlberg celebrating his birthday in honor of that. Of all his movies, what would you say is your favorite?
Go ahead.
I loved The Departed, and I loved how it ended, but I got to go with the sports theme on this one. When he's Vince Papale, the high school football player trying out for the Philadelphia Eagles, makes the team on special teams. Love Invincible, so that'll be my pick.
All right. Ooh. He's had some pretty good. Invincible was. I'm gonna go with Ted.
Yeah.
Just because that one right now. You know what? Right now I'm into comedies, so that's what I'll go with. I know it's not his best movie. Like, come on, it's a talking stuffed teddy bear, but I'll go with that for now.
Ted 2 is good too. Like good ones you can just throw on at any point. Always good for a laugh.
Yeah, with Mila Kunis, and remember this? Oh God, the one scene was hilarious. But he's got so many other. Like I liked Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I thought was really good. The Departed was excellent, but I'm going to go with the comedy today.
He has got some versatility, like Lone Survivor.
Lone Survivor was great too. Yeah,
but then like the other guys with Will Ferrell is pretty hilarious too. So yeah, he can do it all.
Yeah. And like other guys, right? He's pretty funny in the other guys. with him and Will Ferrell. So he's been in a lot of movies, actually. Now that I pull up his page, jeez, tons. So funny guy, he's been around a while. Did you see Father Stew? I don't know if you've seen that one or not, but it's kind of funny. It's just kind of good. Just doesn't seem like he's ever like you know how some people in life, like they've got all the potential and they just could never figure it out. Right? Like some of them are the best self-saboteurs. So 4:57. We'll get back on track. We got Spec coming up. Also, we got a lot of text. Text line is flying. We'll get to those 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, boys, what's up with the linesman last night? Swear more guys were thrown on the face-off dot than any other game these play. Well, I know everybody gets mad at the linesman, but having talked to the players and the linesman, the NHL said they wanted to crack down on face-off violations. It's something they've been pretty consistent on. And so when the linesman now, some players will be like, hey, watch Leon Draisaitl, and he admits it. He tries to time so when the linesman has the puck, he thinks he's going to drop it, and it's literally a split second. And if you move your stick, then you get kicked out. That's the new rule now. So Draisaitl does like to time it, and he's okay with it. He's not too worried about getting kicked out, especially when McDavid's on the ice, because they're like, okay, we got another center, decent opportunity here. They're both over 50%. But I know it looks bad, but having talked to enough centermen around the league, even though they don't love it, they just kind of say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to change. I'm still going to try to cheat. Their words. So there you go. Quick break. Let's get to the comment and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Stop in right now. The legendary Dragon Fruit lineup. Introducing the Dragon Slayer Smoothie, the Pink Dragon Booster Mixer, and the Dragon Booster Ball. Only at Booster Juice.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day in our city is the Riverhawks looking to complete the sweep over Victoria down at Remax Field. First pitch set for 7:05 at the RBC Canadian Open. After one round, Torbjorn Olsen atop the leaderboard, along with Cristobal Del Solar, both players 9 under par. Cameron Champ tied for second spot. When it comes to the Canadians, Taylor Pendrith -5, Nick Taylor 4 under, Hunter Thompson and Adam Hadwin 3 under par, Mackenzie Hughes -2, and Mike Weir 1 over par. In the association, Game 1 gets going tonight of the NBA Finals. Thunder and Pacers from OKC tip off just after 6:30. In the majors today, Toronto Blue Jays victorious over the Phillies, winning 9-1. In the CFL season kicking off this evening with the Rough Riders hosting the Red Blacks. That gets going just after 7. Of course, the Elks in action on Saturday, taking on the BC Lions. And according to reports, Aaron Rodgers will be a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The 20-year-old vet told the team he intends to fly into Pittsburgh on Friday and sign with the team before their mini camp over the weekend. Coming up in hour number 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector, Rogers, Sportsnet, and Edmonton Elks defensive back Emmanuel Rugamba. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
At Fountain Tire, we're all about one thing, taking care of your vehicle. Oh, and your wallet. I guess that's 2 things. Save up to 20% off select tires until June 14th. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
The big one is here at the Brick. Big deals and even bigger savings. Score up to 25% off sofas, sectionals, and recliners. Up to 25% off TV stands, wall units, and fireplaces. And save 50% off beds when you buy 3 matching bedroom pieces. Plus, save the tax when you buy 3 major kitchen appliances. Finally, start sleeping better when you save up to 50% off select mattresses. These big deals won't last long. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Find the perfect tractor for any job at Edmonton Kubota.
Their massive selection of compact tractors has something for everyone, whether you're tackling small tasks or big projects. And right now, take advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months. It's never been easier to get the power and reliability you need. Come down to Edmonton Kubota today and drive away with a tractor that's just right for you. Edmonton Kubota, where your perfect tractor awaits.
The month of May brings machines, mud, and for us, many an opportunity.
Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley,
We
Sports
love the warmer
1440.
weather because
The
it
Oilers
means we can get to work. But to keep things moving, we need the right people on our team. You built your skills. You know your work matters. Now's the time to bring
Facebook
that experience to a crew that gets it. We're hiring experienced top men and pipe layers. So if you're ready to dig in and be part of a team that
Jason
has your
Gregor.
back, apply now at gsconstruction.ca for this great opportunity.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
The crow of the rooster, the creak of the shed door, the building of the pile, the strike of the match, the burst of flame, the driving home, the wind hitting the windows, the wondering if the pile was fully out, the panic to get everyone out in time. 63% of Alberta's wildfires were started by people. Don't be that person. A message from the government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Harley Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail, locally owned and operated by the Kent family and celebrating 45 years. See all our rides at hdedmonton.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock as you make your way home, most of you in a pretty good mood, I would think. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use a promo code Gregor50 or stop in and play the Daily Grand, where you can win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. That's $7.3 million. Get your tickets at playalberta.ca. A lot of text flying in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. As we get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists, where they are hiring. If you want to work for a great company, great benefits, and the opportunity to not just have a job, but to make it a career. They love promoting from within. Go to GS Construction. Sign up and send them your resume today. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. Busy day. Lots going on. Kind of getting tired. When's this all going to end?
Oh, jeez. It just started. Jeez, the other day you're like, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. No. Jeez, yeah, one article a day is really killing you. Holy cow. Well, for any, I don't want to tease anybody, but Spec is doing an article on Edmonton coming out. That coming out later today. Is it already done?
Already up, baby. I'm producing. It should be on sportsnet.ca. Kind of a column like on, you know what? We've been so lucky here at Edmonton. Like, how does a little town like this end up with Gretzky and McDavid and Draisaitl and Warren Moon, things like that? Maybe it's, you know what? Maybe those long dark nights. Maybe someone's paying us back for our winters. I don't know.
Well, hey, you know what? If you're a hockey player, you want to be in Edmonton. The ODR, you get lots of time out there. You get lots of time to play. You know, Warren Moon, Ricky Ray, Mike Riley, some pretty good players in the CFL. You throw in Messier and Anderson and Fuhrer. Like, it is ridiculous when you think about it. And like the fact that the Edmonton Oilers, if they manage to win the Stanley Cup this year, and you look at since 1980 until now, no one will have more Stanley Cups than the Edmonton Oilers organization.
There you go. The Oilers have contested. Now I'm going to do the math. 5, 6, 7, 8. This is their 9th cup that they've been in. Toronto hasn't been in a single one since then.
No.
You know, a single. They haven't even gone to one and lost. Right?
Yeah.
We've been in 9. You know, what are they? They won 5, lost 3, and we're working on the last one here. But holy man, like, you know, we're lucky. It's been a hell of a sports town here. Like, I built a career here, so have you, right? I'm born and raised in this town, so I'm allowed to talk about the bad things here and the good things. And I'll tell you, it was a good town for a kid to grow up in when he loves sports, man. And it's a good town again for a kid to grow up in if he loves sports, or she. So, you know what? We got a hell of a good town here for sports people.
Oh God, yeah. It's amazing. And I'll tell you right now, for people that aren't from Edmonton, and even people that are in Edmonton, sometimes, you know, this sucks. I'm like, hey, we'll leave. That's no problem. Just take it away. Oh. But I think there's a lot of people that don't realize, like, you get into Edmonton, if you grew up here, you just think it's normal that it's light out till 10 and 11 o'clock at night. That's not the case at all. And lots of other major market city places, you know, like I love going to Hawaii, but it's 6 o'clock at night every night and it's down. And, you know, that's great. It's warm out, but man, I know, talking to so many people who travel here for the Cup final last year, guys, like Mike Rupp's like, I didn't even know, right? He never brought his golf clubs. He brought his golf clubs this year because he's like, man, this is unbelievable. I can tee it off at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock and get around it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, you know, and listen, in November and December, like, the bad news is you drive to work and it's pitch black in the morning. But the good news is it's also pitch black when you drive home from work. So
yes, you go to bed early, it's easy to sleep.
Right. We get it. So, you know what? It's not easy, right? We don't get a Chinook that comes through and makes Edmonton plus 10 in January. And you know what? I don't want it because it melts the outdoor rink, right? I like our winters. I'm fine with it. And like you said, if someone doesn't like it, there's a door, man. You know, go somewhere else.
I would think there's lots of people or lots of players who would like to come to Edmonton. Hey, the old build it and they will come, win and they will come. The Oilers have been winners up until the Stanley Cup final. Haven't been able to win that just yet. But, you know, you look at the players, and Kasperi Kapanen, Spec, he talked about it last night that, you know what, hey, when I came here, I kind of thought, hey, maybe this is like last chance saloon for me. And Kasperi Kapanen was, again, a dominant force for the Edmonton Oilers last night. And he didn't play every shift with McDavid and Draisaitl, right? Like, he played a lot of shifts away from them. And even when he's away from him, you notice Kapanen. And I've said it, Spec, like, when you watch in practice, he might be the third most naturally skilled player on the team.
Right. There's tons of tools there. He's got size. He's sure got speed. You know, he's got courage. He doesn't mind throwing. He gets to a check quick and he doesn't mind finishing it. He's got hands. Look at his history. He scored some giant goals, right? You know, won a World Junior in Helsinki against the Russians on a huge, wicked goal. Like, he's got a pedigree. He can score. Just busts through the defense last night. If that puck goes in, that's a legendary goal in this town right now, right? It's a 1-on-3, and he busts through everybody and goes right in and hits, you know, just misses the net. Anyway, you know, I go on a lot about getting a player at the right time in his career, and this is a guy, you know, he was a first-round pick that, frankly, he's probably not a top, you know, I'm not even sure he's a top 6 player really every day. But by the time he gets to Edmonton, he's, like you said, last chance saloon, and he needs to relook at his career and reinvest himself. And he finds himself in a place where he can win, and they need him, and there's a spot for him, and it's all come together. And this guy is so, all my buddies here that cover the Leafs, they're like, oh my God, this guy's 10 times the player he was in Toronto. It was never this good in Toronto. And Edmonton's got him at the right time. He's helping, man. He is helping you win, this guy, every night he plays.
Well, right now he is. Well, you look at last night's game and look at the acquisitions from, Oilers management. Jake Wallman, very good game. John Klingberg, very good game. Pod Colson, assist. Huge Kapanen, 2 assists. Victor Arvidsson, big goal. Like, I know Arvidsson, regular season numbers haven't been great, but in the playoffs here lately, there's another guy that's stepping up.
Hey, Stan Bowman's deal has always been, he took those Chicago teams that lost a bunch of guys and rebuilt them with some fine tuning into a cup winner. He did it twice, right? They won a cup, I think in 10, fell apart because of the cap, lost a bunch of guys, won in 13, fell apart a bit, won in 15. So he comes to Edmonton. The first file on his desk is the Broberg Holloway file, right? And they lost some youth, they lost some speed, they lost 2 important players. And, after Jackson had acquired Skinner and Arvidsson and done some work around the deadline, or around July 1st, excuse me, it was Bowman who said, okay, I got some holes to plug on this team. And he went about plugging those holes, and you're naming guys off that he brought in. Klingberg, genius play, didn't cost you a thing. Wallman, nice trade at the deadline. The last guy that I'm waiting to really make a contribution that I would have to say really hasn't yet would be Frederick. And I've been saying this for a couple of games here, but I got a little bit of a feeling he's kind of the last guy not to have his day in the sun here. And we got, 6 games left to play, maybe. I'll bet you there's time for one of those for Trent Frederick.
Yeah, very, very, very possible. He does the small things, but you're right. You probably want a big timely goal. He did score 1 goal in the one game, but
I want more from him. From him, man. It's fair to ask.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Although, it's unrealistic. I know this year because everybody's doing it, but not every guy is going to stand out every game. Let's be honest. This is only how many teams have ever had 20 goal scorers in the playoffs, right? The Oilers, their heyday did it once. And so they are getting contributions enough from guys if Frederick doesn't stand out in a game, but doesn't stand out negatively, I haven't really seen him do anything bad. Maybe he hasn't done anything great. That's fair, but he hasn't hurt the team by any stretch.
No. And I also, we may find out later that he's at 70% because of that high ankle sprain. That wouldn't surprise me either. So he's gutting it out. You're right, Jay. He is not hurting you in any way. I wish he'd help a little more. That's all. But you know what? I'm not here to nitpick. This is the best Oilers team that we've seen here in forever. There is so much now underneath McDavid and Draisaitl that, frankly, the team set the table here. The team put them in a position. It's 3-2. They're going to the third period, 3-2. And then McDavid steps to the plate, sets up Ekholm. The power play comes out, sets up. I mean, I love that. I've watched that power play goal 20 times today already.
Oh, yeah.
The passes that get made, the puck moves up and down. It gets to Perry. Perry makes this sweet little backhand dish to McDavid. Jack Michaels, whose trademark is keeping up with the play and being right on top of puck movement. I don't think even he kept up with that play the way he wanted to, because it's on Draisaitl's tape and heading for the goal. And Jack's just like, oh my God, there's a pass. It's in. It was magnificent, that goal. And it's a good team, boy. It's a lot of guys underneath of 2 guys who are the best in the world right now.
Yeah. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, what was Paul Maurice saying today?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't there.
Oh, you did? Okay. I thought you might have stuck
around. I hit the road before Paul Maurice talked. Sorry, man.
Yeah, no problem. I saw some of his, obviously they're not going to panic by any stretch of the imagination. But when you just look at history of the importance of winning game 1 on home ice, 52-10 in the Stanley Cup Final are teams who win game 1 at home. It's a pretty good record. Then you look at teams who win game one at home in overtime, right? That makes it even harder. And, you know, the last 5 teams in the 2000s who did it, because there's not a lot of game ones that go to overtime, guess what? They all won. So, you know, like the Oilers last night, they broke the undefeated streak of the Panthers, who had won 31 consecutive games where they led in the first and second period. 31. They're 31-0 under Paul Maurice.
That's incredible.
Now they're 31-1. And so, like, I thought the Oilers played well. I don't think, like, I've seen better games where they dominated start to finish against Vegas and Dallas. And maybe they never will, because Florida's better than those two teams. So that's fair. And I have to tell myself that. But I think for Edmonton, they liked how they played. I thought they controlled lots of the game, but the second period was dominated by Florida. The first 5 minutes of overtime were dominated by Florida, and Stuart Skinner made some big saves. But the Oilers, I think, can play better. You heard little snippets from Nurse and Kane and Knobloch today about, you know, you can't, like, it's not like Florida, you can stop them from dumping the puck in. But I think Edmonton's going to, like, I thought Edmonton dumped the puck more than they would like. I think Edmonton would like to spend a little bit more possession time in the O zone, because that's going to limit you having to go back and retrieve pucks in the D zone.
I'm not sure I agree with you. I think Florida, like LA, I think you have to dump pucks on them. I think we saw an Oilers team that was not very successful getting through the neutral zone on a lot of tries last night. And I think Florida is a team that wants you to try to carry it through the neutral zone, and they prey on you making the wrong choice or the wrong play or coughing up a puck. I feel like, you know, I know that this we know for sure, Jason. When the Oilers play the LA Kings and they beat them every year, and they beat them the same way, even Leon Draisaitl is getting it to center, dumping it in, and retrieving it. And that works against the LA Kings like a charm. That's how you beat LA. You don't carry it through them. You toss it in and you go back and get it. I think Florida's the same team. I think Edmonton's going to have to play dump and chase hockey. And if you don't, I think you feed the Panthers. They want you to carry that puck through they have such a great neutral zone. I've never seen Edmonton I have not in this playoff run seen Edmonton have that much trouble with zone exits and getting it through the neutral zone as they had last night. Have you?
No, and I credit Florida, but I also think that's where Edmonton could improve. And I think they will improve. They've done it historically. They get better as the series goes along. And
absolutely.
I look at Florida, and because Edmonton's not you can dump and chase, but Florida attacks way more than LA attacked, right? So that's why I don't think you can just play the dump and chase game against Florida. I do think Edmonton can possess the puck better. And you talk about, because if they get out of the zone smoother and quicker than they're capable of it, that will limit them, because now they'll come through the neutral zone with a little bit more speed and not have to dump it in all the time.
Well, listen, this is what the video is about, and the point you just made is the best one. Knobloch and the coaching staff and this Oilers team, we've watched it. They lose a game early in the series. They lost 2 early in the series to LA. They figure out what's going on there. You know, I forget their record now in games 4 through 7. Yeah. You know, that tells you they figure the opponent out and they beat them, right? 18-2, 4 through 7. So the same will be true here. They'll be cleaner in this game. And hey, maybe they'll figure out a way that they can get over their blue line with speed and they can make it through the neutral zone. Let's see. I'm not telling you they can't, but I know this: Florida wants you to carry it through the neutral zone. They don't, but like LA stands at center ice and starts backing up. Florida starts at center ice and starts going forward.
Yes.
Their wingers are their defensemen. They never back off. They don't give you the offensive blue line. They stand there and meet that winger, right? And they have a support guy right in place. So if the defenseman wins the battle, he's got someone to give it to, and they keep the puck in your zone. They're well coached. They're well structured. They know their system because they've been doing it for a long time. They're what do they say now? Well rehearsed. This is a good team playing a tough system with a bunch of guys. They want to get into battles, and they got a roster that wins more than its share of battles. That's why it's so hard to beat these guys, because they're better at everything than you are in a lot of cases.
Mark Spector from Rogers Sports that joins us. And Spec, I wrote it today, the legend of Leon, and Leon Draisaitl, ties the NHL record for most overtime goals in one playoff year last year. He ties the Oilers franchise record for most overtime goals, not playoff goals, sorry, overtime goals in playoffs. Ties the Oilers record for most in a career, breaks the Oilers record for most in 1 year. Becomes only the third player in NHL history to score a goal in the first 2 minutes of the game and score the overtime winner. He scored his 50th playoff goal last night. The only active player quicker was Nathan McKinnon. Like he's already, closing in on Phil Esposito and Patrick Kane and guys in his playoffs. Like you look at Leon's ability to score the timely goal. They've had 4 overtime games this year. He has 3 goals and an assist. Like Leon Draisaitl, if I had to vote today, and it's close, but I'm voting Leon for the Conn Smythe today.
If you voted today, I would too. It's really become, it's funny. Like we used to, I grew up with Gretzky to Curry. And when those two guys went in, everybody, including the defenseman on the other team and the other team's goalie, knew that it was the Gretzky was going to get the puck and Curry was going to take the pass and finish. Everybody knew it, and they just couldn't stop it. And here we are. It's not quite the same. They have different styles, but it's McDavid to Draisaitl. And when he took that pass from Perry, I think Barkov was the guy in the slot, and in comes Draisaitl off the wing, closing into the slot. Every pair of eyes, like everyone listening to our show right now, every Oiler fan looked at that scenario and had a little freeze frame and thought, okay, McDavid to Draisaitl to the goal. And I mean, it is the most consistent, successful duo in this town since Gretzky to Curry. And those two guys are, one of them's the greatest player ever played. And the other guy's probably the best, highest scoring European that ever played. And let's see where all that goes with McDavid and Draisaitl. But like, how blessed are we to go from Gretzky to Curry to McDavid to Draisaitl? Like, that's just, it's, any one of those 4 guys would be the best player that ever played for the Vancouver Canucks by a country mile, right? A country mile. And all 4 of them were Oilers.
Yeah, well, Pavel Bure was exciting, but he was only in Van for a short time. But you're right. The thing is, and Gretzky and Curry played together every shift. McDavid and Draisaitl don't, right? Like they center their own lines, and then for a half a game they play together, and then obviously on the power play is where they're the most lethal, and they set it up.
Oh my God!
But like the thing that's different about the Oilers, and that's why they can win, is because this year when you played McDavid and Draisaitl together, the rest of your lineup still contributes, right? The fourth line was great last night and scored a key goal. And, earlier that, when Nugent Hopkins went on his run last series and, you had it earlier in, the Vegas series, the other guy, Kapanen, was scoring and other guys are producing like that. The team is better this year. And the 2 guys are still great at the top, but the supporting cast is so much better. It like those guys scored 2 points against last night's Spec. But you're still like, geez, because Gary Kapanen was really good. And man, Jake Wallman had a great game. And Stuart Skinner had a great game. Like there's lots of other guys who have very equal games. Like McDavid wasn't even a star last night. And that's a good thing for the Oilers.
Yeah, I heard Chris Knobloch say it today that he was asked by Pierre LeBrun about when do you decide to put the McDavid and Draisaitl together? And why don't you just keep them together all the time? They're so good. And his answer, and I'm paraphrasing, is basically, he said, I like to have them apart. It spreads out our scoring, but it gives a message to our team that it's not just going to be the McDavid, Draisaitl, and whoever line that does all the work here. They're on separate lines. They engage 4 separate wingers. It allows them to get into a 4-line rotation. And in a perfect Oilers world, Jay, you and me have this conversation all the time. Do you play them together? You play them apart. In a perfect Oilers world, they start apart. And they never go together because you're leading the game the whole game. They only go together like last night. It's 3-2, you're trailing. Coach says, okay, time for plan B. He's got the best plan B in the National Hockey League, right? His plan B is putting together the greatest player in the world with, maybe the second or third greatest player in the world. That's Knobloch's plan B. It's a pretty good setup, right? I'm not sure I'd change it much if I was him.
No, and I like what he said about the opportunity that he likes to start Leon on his own line because he gets in the game more. And it's like Nugent Hopkins plays better at center, right? Like the guys who are used to playing it, they like to move around. It's better. So you can switch them up, and it's definitely a big luxury to have. So we'll see tomorrow.
Sorry, when you change things up, you move Nugent Hopkins to your center line, your second line centerman, And that's not such a bad thing either, is it?
No. Well, not with the way Kane's playing and other guys. And they did it without Zach Hyman. That's the other thing. That shows you how good their depth was amongst their forwards. That you can load up McDavid and Draisaitl. You don't even have Hyman anymore, and there's not a drop off for the rest of your lineup. Yep. That's a good sign. So tomorrow it'll be interesting because now the teams, you know what, the rust is off from the break, and there's a little bit more nerves. Every game gets a little bit more intense. It's a Friday night at Edmonton. It's going to be a gong show. It should be a lot of fun. See you at the rink. We'll see you at the media event later tonight.
How much fun do you think that rink's going to be tomorrow night on a Friday night?
Not just a rink, man. It's everywhere in Edmonton, right? Like I know they're having watch parties in Spruce Grove and St. Albert and lots of other places around town. I think it's fantastic. So whole community gets into it.
All right, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah. It's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. Quick break. When we come back, we'll talk, an opportunity to get off on the right foot next.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
New Crust Alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new Cheddar Crust Pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping Cheddar Crust Pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I'm Zach Hyman. And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes or having my goals disallowed, we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling. You know, guys used to call me a plumber. And now they call you an AC repairman. Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay. Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Ready for the ultimate golf getaway? Stay and play at Wolf Creek Golf Resort. Relax in the beautiful HV Lodge. Their spacious country cabin right off the 9th fairway, perfect for groups with 2 bedrooms, private bathrooms, and a cozy living room overlooking the course. Packages start at just $185 per player. Prefer the outdoors? Book your spot at the Wolf Creek RV Resort, nestled among the fairways. Visit golfnorth.ca/Wolf Creek and make your stay and play dream a reality today.
Time on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. This is Andrew Walker, and join us for the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show before each Edmonton playoff game. Cross Mitsubishi on 34th Ave and 96th Street.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. The pizza makers at Papa John's are making you 2 or more items for $9.99 each from their Papa Pairings menu, like medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, cheese sticks, and more. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:30. Lovely evening, lovely weekend. Now you got baseball if you want to watch the River Hawks. Oh, perfect evening in the River Valley. Then you got, of course, game 2 tomorrow, the Oilers. Then you got the Elks with their season opener Saturday night. It'll be the late game as they are in BC to take on the Lions. You also got Stingers in action on the road this weekend. River Hawks, man, it's a great time for sports as we get to the Elks report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer at legacyheating.ca. As the Elks get set to get out to BC. Our next guest, of course, in his first season with the Elks, who is 2023 Western All-Star with the BC Lions, getting set to take on his former team. Emmanuel Rugamba joined us, starting halfback for the Green and Gold. Emmanuel, welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me.
So going up against your former team, how is there I don't know if you do it in football. I know in hockey sometimes they put up a little, there's a little motivation on the board against a former team. Do you do that in the CFL? How's that work?
Oh, man. Definitely excited to get out there against my former team. But this wouldn't be my first time doing this. Just a little bit about myself. When I was in college, I went from the University of Iowa to Miami of Ohio University and sat out a year. And my first game actually as a Miami Red Hawk was against Iowa at Iowa. So it's kind of familiar experience. But I'm definitely excited to get out there in front of BC and put on a show with the Edmonton Elks.
You had an opportunity, to go through preseason. You're one of the newcomers, right? Lots of like all-star newcomers. From the safety to corner to your defensive line. How do you feel your defense has gelled through preseason?
I feel like our defense has gelled well through preseason. You get a good opportunity, especially in training camp, when all you're doing is ball 24/7, to get to know your guys. At the same time, get to understand who you're playing next to. And so far, I feel definitely comfortable around all the guys, all the new additions. I know we've got a stacked D line. We've got in the secondary. We got Royce, who came over from Toronto, as well as we got Terrell at the corner position. So we've got a mixture of vets coming from different places, but all together come to the same goal. And as far as meshing, I think we've been doing a good job of that and just trying to continue to build on camp.
Emmanuel, give us a little scouting report for fans who are going to see you for the first time. What's your strength in the secondary?
Man, in the secondary, I'm a guy that likes to make plays, whether it's down the field, whether it's man-to-man or whether it's in the backfield. I try to be balanced as far as that. I play with aggression. I play with passion continuously, all 4 quarters, and I try to give it my all in everything I can do.
Do you prefer zone or man-to-man?
Oh, man, I prefer the call. Whatever the call is, I try to execute it to the best of my ability. But as far as a preference, you can't really have a preference going into something. But talking about man-to-man is simple. You just stick to the hip of the guy you're with. When you're talking about zone, you got to be able to communicate, got to be able to talk to the guy next to you, in front of you, around you, especially at that boundary half position. Got to communicate with your will linebacker. Excited to play with Nick Anderson as well, the former Rookie of the Year. We got a great boundary corner in Devondrick Bynum, and I'm excited to play with those guys for sure.
Now, I've heard that Bynum's, is a little bit of a trash talker in a good way. You need a few guys like that. How are you on the field? And if you have a guy playing beside you who's a little bit of a trash talker, do you automatically become more vocal, or do you just kind of like to sit back and enjoy it?
Oh, you got to do a little bit of both. You got to do what the present time asks for. You know what I'm saying? If Devondrick is talking trash, I'm never going to let my teammate just sit there on the side talking trash by himself. So as far as us in the boundary, I'm excited to play with him. He has a lot of passion, has a lot of spirit in the game. He loves the game. And it's nothing better than to play next to somebody that loves the game as much as Devondrick does.
Well, I like that attitude. You're like, hey, you know what? I don't want him to be out there on an island, so I'll join in. Defense is much, not that, offense isn't, but defenders, it seems to be a little bit more of an emotional group for the majority of the time. I was watching first day pads happen in training camp. The defense, there's a lot more hooting and hollering coming from the defensive side than the offensive side. Does that fit your personality? Like, did you play offense as a kid, and did you just gravitate towards the defensive side of the ball?
I actually played offense coming all the way out in high school. Initially, I was a receiver. Okay. I didn't make the switch over to defensive back until about my senior year. But as far as bringing that passion, as far as bringing that love for the game on the defensive side of the ball, you got to have something. You got to have something within you. It's got to have some kind of bark. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you got to put your face on somebody else's, and you got to do that continuously, rep after rep. So you can't be just some normal guy playing defense. That's how I feel.
When you made the switch over, did you miss offense, or is it just naturally like, oh, you know what? I kind of like the defensive side of the ball?
The biggest thing I say about the switch was on the defensive side of the ball. A lot of the time, you you're relying on other people at the same time, but you're also relying on your own abilities. On the offensive side of the ball, a lot of things have to mesh at the same time. The offensive line has to be well as the timing of the quarterback. And defense, for example, obviously outside of zone, when you have a man-to-man rep, it's really you and that guy in front of you. So that's one of the things that I take pride in on the defense side of the ball is at the end of the day, whether you win or lose, it's going to be on you. It's not going to be a bad ball. It's not going to be not having enough time in the backfield. It's going to be on you. So that's one thing you got to take pride in as a defender.
Where do you feel you've grown the most now, having a few years under your belt in the CFL? Where's the biggest improvement come in your game?
I think the biggest improvement that comes into my game is just the poise that I've gathered over the years, playing next to multiple All-Stars my rookie year. When I came in, I was in a room full of All-Stars, maybe some Hall of Famers as well. You got TJ Lee, you got Marcus Sales, Luches Purifoy, Gary Peters, Delvin Bro. And to just be in a locker room like that, coming into the league and playing Sam at the beginning of it and knowing I can play multiple positions, but playing that Sam position for the first 2 years and then making that transition to boundary half last year, being able to get experience next to the box as well as get experience into that boundary, as well as just understanding the flow of the game and understanding that, it takes all 4 quarters, not ever getting too high, not ever getting too low. So that's the biggest thing I take away as far as my experience in the CFL.
Emmanuel Rugamba joins us from the Elks to take on the Lions. Now, Nathan Rourke, this is something we never seen. We got 2 starting Canadian quarterbacks in opening week, which is pretty special. Now, Nathan Rourke a few years ago in BC was really good for the Lions. As a defensive player, do you know his tendencies? Is there any truth? Does it help you at all having, seen him in practice a lot, or is that overblown?
It definitely helps a lot. Definitely helps a lot. But as a professional, you get better every day. You try to go to practice. You try to find things that you didn't do well that day, and you try to get better every day. As far as Nathan Rourke, he's a great player. Like you said, he had that amazing year in 2022, and I am familiar with Rourke as well, as we went to rival colleges in college. He went to Ohio University, so I've been playing against him for some years now, and I'm excited to get out there and play against him again. But it definitely has some kind of familiarity with it, going against him all the time in practice as well as during our time in college. But I'm excited to get out there and see him again.
Yeah, well, and then I want to ask you, because you go up against the offense all the time in Trey Ford, who's still really young at that quarterback position. He's obviously an incredible athlete. He gets outside the pocket. He's maybe the most dynamic quarterback in the game. But what have you seen maybe from the first day of camp until now in the growth of your young quarterback?
The leadership aspect of Trey. I was fortunate enough to be able to see him from the outside looking in, as far as me being in BC the last 3 years, and just getting here and training camp and seeing him in person myself. The leadership role that he takes on is tremendous, I would say. As far as whether they're asking him to, control the pace of the game, whether they're asking him to make some plays, whether they're asking him to get outside the pocket, he's a guy that adapts quick, and his leadership role is something that I have been fortunate enough to see firsthand in camp.
Well, Emmanuel, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. Best of luck in the season opener. And do you know, are any of you guys, are guys going to be able to watch the Snoop Dogg concert, parts of it? How does that work?
We're going to say, I'll probably say that'll probably be 2 hours before the game. I would say maybe at most, I don't know, maybe guys might get 5 minutes in. It hasn't been too big of a talk within our locker room. We've been locked in on trying to go 1-0. Because you only get one chance to go 1-0, and we know how big the history of the Edmonton Elks is here in Edmonton, and there's nothing more that we want to do than go 1-0 for the first week of the season. So the biggest thing that we've been talking about really hasn't been the concert, but I'm sure there'll probably be a guy or two, a few guys out there watching the concert, maybe 5 minutes at a time, but no more than that. I don't expect.
Awesome. Okay, man. Appreciate it. Enjoy the game. Best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Emmanuel Rugamba joins us. Remember the Elks? Let's just look at Rugamba. You look at Ford. You look at Ketchy and the safety, the revamped D-line. That's a lot of new starters on the defense. And lots of good players, guys with experience. This defense on paper, they should be way better. I'm curious to see kind of as they get time to gel throughout the season. It's not just instantaneous. Obviously, their D-line's going to have to get pressure, because that makes easier for everybody. But I'm looking forward to that game. Like, this is a perfect sports weekend, man. Friday night, Stanley Cup. Saturday night, Oilers. Sunday night, NBA final. Monday, NHL Game 3. Like, awesome. Can't wait. We'll come back, wrap things up on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Edmonton sports fans stay informed with Sports 1440. Stream us. Listen to us on the AM dial. However you consume this radio station, thanks for listening.
Jumpstart your summer with Wendy's delicious drinks. Enjoy a small iced coffee, frosty chino, or frosty fizz for only $1.99. But hurry, get your $1.99 small drink at participating Wendy's, only available until June 29th. Taxes extra.
Metal Supermarkets is locally owned, locally operated. They love this city and serving its people. In fact, there is Edmontonian as a spring craft sale. Hey, look at these cool hats.
Those are doilies, sir.
Is that what the kids are calling them these days? I'll take the whole batch. Got to cover the old bald spot.
Indeed.
Speaking of covering, Metal Supermarkets has you covered with metal cut to your precise requirements in no time. The local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
A fire ban is now in place for northern and central parts of Alberta where wildfire danger is extreme. Because of hot, windy conditions, wood-burning fires are not permitted on public or private land. For more information about bans or restrictions in your area, visit albertafirebans.ca. To report wildfires in the forest protection area, call 310-FIRE. That's 310-FIRE. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Sato Canada trains you to succeed in Canada's energy industry. Canada's leading safety and training organization. Basic vacuum truck operator and water truck operator training. Basic rig site orientation. Hot boiler operation. And industrial cleaning introduction. Trackhoe for rig operations. Plus confined space entry and monitor. H2S Alive. Common safety orientation. And standard first aid. Online courses available. A state-of-the-art facility with real scenarios, equipment, and experiences. SatoCanada.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.545. Welcome back, Gregor, Halley, Declan Cougar, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. A lot of text to wrap up the show. And then tomorrow we're back live at OTR. We will set up Game 2. Craig Button, of course, will be by. We'll have a few other special guests from around the league joining us. Should be a fantastic program to set up Game 2, where the city will be rocking. Something to, man, tomorrow night, Oilers win. If they do, just imagine a Friday night in Edmonton where the Oilers will be halfway to the Stanley Cup. Dare to dream, Oiler fans. Dare to dream. Hey, Gregor, it's not fair by spec to say that Gretzky, Curry, McDavid, or Leon would have been the greatest player to play for the Canucks by a country mile. They had Messier. Well, to be fair, that was Mark Messier in his 19th NHL season. Now, if they'd had Mess in his prime, we're talking a different story here. But no, the Canucks and Messier, I know Canuck fans, they don't like the memories of that there. It was not a good fit for him. It wasn't a good fit for them. But it was also like because Messier started in 80 and played until 2004, like ridiculous. So it was season, I think, 18, 19, 20 for him in Vancouver because he came in. Messier's a 61. So his first season in Vancouver, he was 36, 37, 38. Yeah, not necessarily his prime time years, shall we say. Then went back to New York and, had an all right time, but hey, I don't care. His final season in the NHL, he still had 18 goals in a kind of the dead puck era. It's not bad. Really, when you think about it, it's not bad at all. But obviously had a pretty good career. 1,887 points for the Moose, Mark Messier. And I think Pavel Bury's the greatest Canuck player they've ever. I know some will say the Sedins, but I'm sorry. And I've argued, and I've said this many times, the Sedins were good players. But if you look at their career, their first 5 years, right? Nothing to write home about by any stretch of the imagination. Then they had a pretty good stretch, right? Where they were like 80 Daniel had a 100-point season, right? I think they were 80 points 3 times. So he had 5 80-plus point seasons. It was good, but I think if they had played in a non-Canadian market, I don't know if they'd be revered as much as they were in Vancouver. Just my thoughts. They're very good players, but when you actually put up their numbers against lots of other ones, I don't know if they were as great as people say. They had a very unique ability to play very well together. There's no question about that.
If Quinn Hughes stays, you think he'll go down as the greatest Canuck? It's a big if.
That's a really good question. Well, if he signs an extension that's like an 8-year deal, that would give him 16 years in Vancouver? Yeah, probably. Because look at Quinn Hughes as a defenseman his first few years. 53, 41, 68, 76. Then he had 92 points. Now, I know it's a little bit more of an offensive league right now, but even when offense came back in 2005, 2006 for the Sedins, as forwards, how many times did they have 92 points? Twice? So, yeah, I don't know. 2 times did Henrik have more than 92 points. And I'm quickly looking at Daniel. He had more than 92 once in 104. So, yeah, I think that's a really good question, Cons. It's the opportunity. Like Elias Pettersson, if he'd ever show some consistency, it has the potential to maybe be a little bit better than that, for sure. Hey, guys, where do you think the Elks finish, and what's your Grey Cup prediction, Morgan? Ooh. I think the Elks going to finish 3rd in the West, which, you know what, they just make the playoffs. To me, the Elks make the playoffs. Heck, even if it's, I think, Cons, you picked them as a crossover team, but I have them finishing 3rd in the West, and that to me is a good positive step in the right direction. It would be a big shock, I think, if the Elks went all the way to the Grey Cup, to be honest. Now, once you get in, anything can happen. We've seen that in any sport, so you never know if you're in. But I think Winnipeg's run's done, so I think I went Saskatchewan to represent the West this year. So, but hey, BC could be really good. I think Edmonton has a lot of potential. And that's why that game Saturday night, that's must-watch TV for me. As much as I'm watching the Stanley Cup, I'm watching that game on Saturday night. I'm very curious to see what the Elks are going to do. Hey, guys, I always tell people that Canucks fans that Messier was the greatest player to ever wear their jersey from TJ. Well, I guess in theory, if you say the greatest NHL player to ever play in a Canucks jersey was Mark Messier. Now, his time as a Canucks, no, but on a technicality, I think you'd be correct. That would be true. Very true. Hey, guys, I'm curious your thoughts on the Oilers and the matchups. Knobloch didn't seem to care at all about specific matchups. Do you think that will be the case all series long? Yeah, I kind of do. Knobloch, he trusts his bench. Like Barkov played what? Now Barkov played, I think, 12 of his minutes, 5-on-5 against McDavid. And so when they put McDavid and him together, it's a little bit easier, to say, okay, we're gonna get Forsling, we're gonna get Barkov out there, because you're not gonna be scared if you're them. But did you know that Gustav Forsling? Do you know who he played more minutes against last night? Kasperi Kapanen and Evander Kane, and then Draisaitl. McDavid only played 6 minutes. We said it going in, Cons. I thought it was going to be the Mikkola-Jones pairing, and that's what they got. And Mikkola was pretty decent 5-on-5 against McDavid, him and Jones. They didn't. I didn't think that they looked, completely out of sorts at all. Now, obviously, they got outshot, but that's not a huge surprise. But 5-on-5, they actually scored. They outscored them. So I think they would look at that as they'll take the shots and say, hey, you know what? We'll take some body blows, but we didn't get knocked out. And honestly, I think at times that's going to be their approach to McDavid in this series. We'll absorb the body blows. You know what? We're going to understand that we're probably going to get outshot. But if we can limit him to the goals, then they'll take it. So overall, they're probably fairly happy with how that game went 5-on-5 against McDavid's line. Remember, Draisaitl's line scored the first goal. They scored in the power play to win the game. Arvidsson scored the other one. So McDavid obviously was on the ice for the one goal on the assist to Ekholm. This one comes from Nick. Hey, Gregs, do you think McDavid meant to pass that to Ekholm, or did he miss Kane? Well, that's a good question. I watched that replay many times. Kane is there, but he's also covered. So be a good question. The pass wasn't on the ice at Kane. It looked like it was to me over him. So I think he knew Kane was there, but he also knew he was covered, and he saw Ekholm. But I could be wrong, because Kane was there. We'll see. I think BX on the broadcast thought he was passing to Kane and just missed him, and it's possible. I can't say. I'd have to ask him 100% to know. We'll see. Obviously, it doesn't matter because it worked. At the end of the day, that's what matters the most. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Have yourselves a lovely evening. Let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Employee prices on now at GMC. Get up to $12,000 off 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Denali Ultimate, only at your Alberta GMC dealers. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, Edmonton Riverhawks in action, looking to complete the sweep over Victoria. First pitch, 7:05 down at Remax Field. Round one action, the RBC Canadian Open. Pure Bjorn Olesen atop the leaderboard with Cristobal Del Solar. Both players 9 under par. Cameron Champ currently 8 under. Good for second spot. As for Canadians, Taylor Pendrith 5 under par. Nick Taylor 4 under. Hunter Thompson and Adam Hadwin -3. And Mackenzie Hughes 2 under. And Mike Weir 1 over par. We got game 1 of the NBA Finals getting going tonight in about 40 minutes out in OKC with the Thunder hosting the Pacers. Major League Baseball today, Jays knocked out the Phillies 9-1. Right now, you've got the Cubs on top of the Nationals 3-0. And in game 2 of their doubleheader, Royals have a 2-0 lead over the Cards in the bottom of the first. Game 1 went to the Cards, winning 6-5. According to reports, Aaron Rodgers is scheduled to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers tomorrow. The 20-year-old vet told the team he intends to fly to Pittsburgh and sign before their mini camps this weekend. And the CFL season will kick off tonight with the Riders hosting the Red Blacks. That'll start just after 7 o'clock. Of course, the Elks get their season going Saturday night in BC. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio all night, and tomorrow morning, live local coverage resumes with the Kevin Carius Show at 7 a.m. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440.